Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the app today.
Your weekly dose of romance and drama has arrived. Season 29 of The Bachelor is here, and Grant Ellis, certified hottie and former day trader, is trading his day job on Wall Street for a second chance at everlasting love. New episodes drop every Monday at 8/7 Central, bringing you fresh twists in Grant's journey to find his soulmate. This self-proclaimed mama's boy is all grown up and ready to invest his heart. Will his playful charm win over the house full of hopefuls, or will the competition prove too intense? From heartfelt moments to adrenaline-pumping dates, each week brings new surprises in the mansion. Will Grant find his perfect match or end up with a broken heart? Tune in every Monday at 8/7 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu for new episodes of The Bachelor.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello, and welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. I'm James Petrogallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmy Westman.
Thank you, folks, for joining us today on another crazy, exciting, wild, swooping from the air, death-defying edition of Crime and Sports. And all those things are true today, as we'll talk about.
Great.
Even swooping from the air.
Oh.
The guy's got a nickname that fits that perfectly. We have a wild one. It's a brain-damaged crackhead boxer. So, I mean...
That's a recipe for disaster.
When you mix in a beaker brain damage and crack, you really, when you shake that up, it all comes out of the top. It's bubbling. The whole room's filled with smoke. You got to clear it out. It's like mixing, what is it, bleach and ammonia or whatever it is.
Have
but
the exhaust fan going.
It's have a well-ventilated room is what we're talking about here. And we're in a well-ventilated room, thankfully. Actually, no, we're in a basement. So we're in a poorly ventilated room, but that's fine. That's okay. Thank you guys for everything this week. We really can't thank you enough for everything you've done for us. Your iTunes reviews are huge. Anyone who hasn't done it, Apple Podcasts, the purple icon, whatever the hell that thing is, the one that Apple plays podcasts on.
That's the one.
That one. If you could go ahead and give us 5 stars on that, that'd be fantastic. I know it takes 30 seconds. You got to sign in, but wait till you hear the story. It's worth it. It's worth it. And it doesn't matter what you say. Just tell us you're following instructions, following directions, that sort of thing. It really helps drive us up the charts. We don't know why. Right. It's not our doing. But if you want to do a little more, go to shutupandgivememurder.com.
Yes.
Where you can get all of your crime and sports needs, all of your shirts and your mugs and bags and all sorts of stuff with all your sayings on it and your logos. I would say get tickets to Crime and Sports Live in Phoenix, but sold out.
You missed it. Or you got them.
Or you got them. We told you it would sell out fast because it's the only one we have in the books.
Right.
And it did. So it's sold out. We can't wait to see everybody October 19th. We have a hell of a show for you. Just so you know, we are planning on plotting a couple more. We kind of put this one out as a test, and it did pretty well. So we're going to maybe do like one in the Midwest, one on the East Coast, maybe one on the West Coast, kind of spread them out like that and see how those go and go from there on Crime and Sports. But also get your Small Town Murder live tickets. You might as well. We're going to be in Cleveland and Columbus next in the... What is it, like the 1st of August, 1st and 2nd, or something like that? Columbus and then Cleveland. We'll be there.
Second and 3rd?
Second, something like that.
Second and 4th?
You know where you can find that out?
Shutupandgivememurder.com.
Shutupandgivememurder.com.
That's the one.
Head there, find out what those dates are, and listen to Small Town Murder if you haven't been listening to that. I don't know what you're thinking there. But do all of that stuff. If you want to be an even bigger hero and be one of our producers who we're going to talk about in such glowing terms, it's not even funny. Basically the opposite of the way we'll talk about whatever athlete we're talking about. You can do that very easily by going to patreon.com/crimeinsports, or you can head over to PayPal and use our email address, which is crimeinsports@gmail.com. You can find both of those wonderful links right at shutupandgivememurder.com. So with that said, we got to get this started because it's
all right.
Like I said, it's filling the room with brain damage and crack smoke. It's the mixture. We got to get it done before we suffocate in here.
Kick tires, light fires. Let's go, James.
Do this. Let's do this. Let's talk about Aaron Tonnell Pryor.
Oh,
you know who Aaron Pryor is?
Aaron
you heard
Pryor.
of him? He's a legendary boxer.
Expos?
Expos. Royals, Jimmy. Royals. A legendary boxer, actually. He's one of the best light welterweights of all time, like 135 to 140. Doesn't get any better than him on every list. He's in the top 10 of all time and that sort of thing. Nasty dude. Born October 20th, 1955.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he's an older guy. He boxed in the 80s, mainly late 70s and through the 80s. And he is from Cincinnati.
Oh.
And he came up tough.
Yeah, I believe it.
He came up tough. There's obviously parts of every city that are shitty, but when you're talking like the 60s black neighborhoods in some of these kind of cities like Cincinnati were not great places to grow up, as far as, there wasn't a lot of wealth and a lot of opportunity there. So his mother and his father, his father's name is Isaiah, his mother's name is Sarah. They weren't married ever, and he never knew his father until later, as we'll talk about. He was raised by his mother. His mother drove a school bus to support all 7 of her children.
Good Lord.
So yeah, it's not a lot of money growing up.
No.
And his mom is tough, and he does not get along with his mom well, as we'll talk about. There's some issues at home that continue on through his whole life, basically, until she dies.
No.
And then it's
she was the greatest.
She was an angel at that point, but until then,
she is one now.
Until then, there's police involvement. So I mean, if you need police involvement in your relationship with your mom, there's problems. I'm sorry, you should never need a cop to intervene with your mother.
I don't think I've ever had that.
No, you should be able to work shit out with your mom eventually. You know what I mean? So anyway, 7 kids. She gave him the name Pryor. And she's just
that's not her. It's not his dad's name.
Her name is Shellery, and his dad's name is Graves. So
well, what the fuck?
We don't know where that. No one knows where that.
She started, is what you're saying.
She just made up Pryor and said, "There you go.
Really?
You're Aaron Pryor now, big guy,
big Richard Pryor."
Yeah,
man.
I don't know if that was like an older family name that nobody knows. That's just whatever. This is 1955.
Interesting.
Shit, Richard Pryor was in the same position he was. They're almost the same age. Richard Pryor's a little bit older than him, but
not old enough then to have been famous yet.
No, or
not to influence a name,
and definitely not be his dad.
No,
I don't think so. His siblings also have problems with the law growing up, and the mothers. If you're a single mother and you're driving a school bus and you have 7 kids, it's hard to keep that shit together. I don't know how anybody. There are people that do it, and I don't know how the hell they do it.
It's hard to get their names right.
That's what I mean.
Let alone the goddamn food right.
Names and imagine dinner, the pressure to just do everything all the time. I don't know how many. The tally you'd have to take. You'd have to walk around with a checklist. Did you eat? Did you? Yes, he ate. He did not eat. Okay, we have 4 yeses and 3.
God forbid you got a couple or 3 of them sick at once.
Yeah,
you got to try to remember which one you gave Benadryl to last.
You're walking back and forth like a first-class flight attendant. Like, more to drink, more wine. You drunk fucking mimosa. Okay, all right. Bloody Mary at 7 in the morning. Sure, why not?
Sure.
Yeah, I love that. I love how it's people like, if you look into first class, you can see people who are clearly like they're going somewhere in like khakis and a nice polo or like a sport coat. Like they're going to a business thing, but they're drinking at 6:30 in the morning.
It's pretty hilarious.
They would not be doing that normally, but it's like, well, we're in the air. It's like international, waters or something.
And I'm sitting in 12B going, that drunk fuck just ordered vodka. I heard
it. I heard him. I heard the vodka. He seems happy about it.
That motherfucker.
Jesus. One of his brothers is in prison for armed robbery growing up. His brother ends up being sentenced to a long prison sentence for armed robbery, and he gets out a little bit later and ends up going back in, and his brother's just in prison his whole life. One of his sisters stabbed one of her boyfriends to death.
Wow.
And we went to trial and everything, and it was finally ruled a justifiable homicide. So there's some turmoil, let's just say. I mean, we are like 7 minutes in. We're 4 minutes past the upfront house cleaning, and we already have armed robbery and a fucking stabbing somebody to death.
His whole
justifiable
family,
homicide.
His whole family's a bad bitch.
It's some bad shit. Now his mother. This is another thing now. So the sister stabbed a boyfriend to death.
Yeah.
His mother shot his stepfather.
Of course she did.
5 times with a handgun and paralyzed him. So there's also that.
And he survived.
Yeah, paralyzed.
My Christ.
So this is the type of environment this kid's growing up in. 7 kids, shit's going wild, brothers armed robbing, sisters shanking people, mom's packing heat and shooting stepdad because he's, I'm sure, beating the crap out of her or something. She probably deserved it, I'm sure. Who the fuck knows what's going on? But Wow, this is
surprise. This guy plays a sport that involves releasing aggression.
Weird that this guy would have a sport where violence is involved, and it's just beat that guy to a bloody pulp. Okay, and
he's goddamn good at it.
He's one of the best of all time, one of the top 20 of all time who's ever done it. That's how good he is.
Unbelievable.
If you asked about his childhood later on, he said, "quote, I was deprived. I was doomed too." He said that he grew up thinking that like a good future was not for him. Yeah. Like that was not even like a thought or consideration. No, he was just like other people that you see, they have futures. I'm just fucked.
That's for somebody else. Yeah. I'm going to stab or shoot somebody.
I'm doomed. Right. My whole family. That's what it is. Sarah, the mother, she had a 9 p.m. curfew for the kids, the ones who were not in prison at this point. And when one came home late, they either got, and this wasn't a choice that they had, it was a choice that she would make. They either got a whipping, or she would order the kid to stay outside for the night. One of the two, whichever mood she was in.
You get a beating, or
beating and you can sleep in the house, right. Or no beating and you have to sleep outside. I don't know what that.
And that's up to me.
I'll figure that out.
I'll decide that
depending on the circumstances.
Depending on how late you get home.
You never know what kind of mood I'm in, if I've had a glass of wine or not, what kind of day people were shitty on the bus. Right. You never know what's going on. Traffic could be bad, and then you're sleeping outside.
Unbelievable.
So he says, quote, I think that's why I never had problems sleeping in hallways when I got older. I had to do it so many times as a kid.
My God.
So that's the kind of guy he is. Jesus, this is sad. His next quote here about his childhood is fucking depressing and sad. It's like a bad after school special where you're just like, no, come on. No one's going to say it like that. He says it like this, quote, I was a kid nobody paid attention to. Some nights I just said to hell with it and slept in a doorway. Wasn't anything for me at home anyway. That is
my God.
For a child to just go, not even worth going home. I'll just sleep in a doorway. What kind of home life must you have to
not dinner?
Not dinner, not anything. There is no Fruity Pebbles in this house. None whatsoever. Not a fucking
heartbreaking.
Not a Cocoa Crispy to be found. This is a bad time. Bad times right here. What I can't imagine as a child anything where you're like, you know what? And it's not like one thing happened, there's a big fight at home. It's just a regular thing. Half the time you just go, nah, nothing at home for me.
But did you know anybody like that?
I'll just sleep. Yes.
Yeah.
I do.
Fuck yeah.
I knew
absolutely
plenty of kids like that. They just sleep wherever but they usually sleep at like a friend's house or something. They didn't.
Very rarely they found a doorway.
This kid would just be like, I'll just sleep here. It's just as good as home. Like
horrible.
I might get shanked by a homeless man in the night or,
because this spot's warm.
But fuck it. I don't know. It's better than hearing her. I don't know, man. Whatever.
Holy shit.
That's pretty sad and really puts it in a real stark terms as far as what his childhood was like. He started boxing when he was 13, and that was just like, holy shit, some place to let my aggression out. And things are different here. Things are structured here. It felt good for him to get into that environment. He says, quote, when I wasn't running in the morning or speeding hours training at the gym, my favorite pastime was listening to boxing matches on the radio. So he loved Muhammad Ali as a kid. He thought, I was like his fucking hero. He said he would sneak into the stockyards and ride the bulls at night when he was a kid. He thought that was fun.
At the slaughterhouse?
He's riding bulls. He's
riding your steak later.
He's just going to hop right on it. Are we eating bulls?
I mean, I don't know.
Or are we eating cows?
I don't know what they are.
I guess we were eating both.
I imagine it's both. It's just fucking beef.
Not a virile bull, though.
No.
A bull that can get his fuck on.
Fucking, we need that.
No one's eating that.
You got to make more of these.
He's going to be around for a while.
You got to make more steaks.
Yeah, till his dick gets soft, and then otherwise he can produce steaks.
I think that's true.
I have no idea. We're not cow people. We don't.
I love them.
It's my favorite thing. I love beef. It's wonderful, but
they're adorable too.
Yeah, I will be the beef spokesperson. I'll do the old Sam Elliott thing. I'll look at beef. Oh yeah, I'll put a voice on.
So what's for dinner every goddamn night?
Some beef, because it's fucking good. So anyway, he says he would get in there and ride it. He said it was just for the thrill of it. He said, quote, I was afraid. Always afraid I'd get hurt. That's why I did it.
Yeah. Okay.
To overcome a fear. Like it felt good to do something scary. That's the type of dude we're talking about.
That's a bananas thought.
When you see his...
I always thought I was going to get hurt, so I would do it.
I was afraid I'd get hurt. That's why I did it.
Wow.
Because it was to make you feel alive. I guess when there's so much chaos and turmoil, to get anything to feel, you probably need something like that going on. You need to get on a bull. Yeah. And if you watch him fight later on, this guy, when we're later on tonight, when you go home, Jimmy, because whatever, look up this guy on YouTube and just pick out any fight and watch it. Just pick it out and you will not stop watching it, because from the second the bell rings, he never stops punching.
Fascinating.
It is a fucking flurry of beating. And then the other guy, to either keep up or be pummeled, has to do the same. So it looks like Rocky.
Incredible.
It's two dudes beating the shit out of each other.
I did a lot of dangerous shit when I was a kid, but I never did any of it because I was afraid to get hurt. I did it because it was fun.
Yeah, this guy's like,
to not get hurt.
Yeah. This guy was a thrill to get away with it when not getting hurt. Like he beat the bull. And he's got no physical fears. We'll see later on. In high school, he was what was called a slow learner at the time. He actually did graduate high school,
How about that?
With help also from a lot of the boxing community there that would help him, like his trainers and stuff, or telling him to go to school and shit like that. Things that his mother wasn't really doing, because he said that his mother would just tell him constantly that he was going to end up like his brother in prison. She'd just tell him that all the time. I don't know even why you're bothering. You're just going to be in prison anyway. She'd tell him shit like that. Yeah, his mom wasn't the most supportive person in the world.
Not at all.
Everything he says and everything that his family says, and the evidence of his life. Just not that I'm more supportive than his father, who he didn't meet till later on. At least she was fucking there.
Who knows?
She was providing a roof and or a doorway.
Maybe he requires that kind of motivation of negative. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it worked.
It sure did. I mean, he was great.
Yeah,
the best at what he was doing.
That's right. He said though, while this was going on and he was trying to prove her wrong and he was going to school in boxing, he was also a total delinquent, he said too, and he would just roll drunks for fun, is the way he put it.
So she was right.
Yeah, she was kind of right at the same time. And in the end, he didn't learn and remember this and remember the number and remember exactly how this goes, because it'll come back again. He didn't learn his father's identity till he was almost 17. Didn't know who his father was. It turned out that he knew the guy his whole fucking life, just didn't know it was his dad.
Get out of here.
Knew him his whole life. Just guy from the neighborhood.
That is awful.
That's the worst.
Ew.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
It's if you don't meet, you didn't meet your dad till you were
28,
older.
had no idea where the fuck he was or what he looked like.
If it was a guy that you knew your whole life,
oh my God,
your neighbor, you'd be like, what the fuck?
The guy that we would get pastrami's from or something?
You would be so angry at that.
Mom, the fuck?
How mad would you be at that?
We saw him every week.
This guy?
Jesus.
I called him a jerk off. I didn't know he was my dad.
Remember, I picked tomatoes off and threw them at his fucking head.
Jesus Christ. I egged his house last Halloween.
We did the poop in the bag trick. Remember that, Mom?
It was funny. He fell for it hard. He was stomping.
All over his work.
He was like, these fucking dogs. Goddamn kids. Oh, no, it's a dog. So, yeah. So it's this guy. He said he was absolutely fucking devastated by this.
I can't imagine.
Was horrified by it, and that was when he really laid into his mom, let his mom know it was up, and told him that he was, basically he was through with her at this point in time for doing this to him, even though this guy could have told him too. I don't know if it's not.
Yeah, who do you blame?
It's not 100% positive whether he knew it was his kid. We don't know that part of the story. He might have known, and he might be, or he might not have, because it's never really said exactly.
I don't know, 17, 15.
I think he knows who he is, probably, but you never know. I mean, who knows if his
let's say you had a sexual relationship with your ex and didn't get married to her, okay? And she got pregnant. And you're working somewhere, and she pops in quite frequently with this kid that, kind of looks like you.
I don't think they were ever together, though. It was just like they were kind of a hangout, hookup type of thing.
All right.
And it was one of those. It was more casual than that. I feel like it may have been others type of deal, but I feel like he would have known by the time he was 17.
Yeah, that's my point.
Something would have come up.
Because if your ex is dragging your little guy around and you see him, I can see you, I can see your face in his face.
You talk to him. Yeah, it's mannerisms. You've noticed
kid,
some shit.
You're very much like me.
That's super weird. We have the same nose. How odd is that?
I did once put my bone in your mom. That's weird.
Yeah. So by that time, he moves out of her house and he's living with one of his friends' families. Like, that took him in. He he also basically lives at the gym is his whole thing. It's the Cincinnati's Emmanuel Community Center, and that's where the boxing gym is, and that's where he spends most of his time. Basically goes to his friend's house to sleep, get right back up in the morning, does his running, heads to the gym there all day long.
Okay.
Yeah, he loved it. He says, because he's only 5'6".
Really?
He is 5'6", and 5'6", 135 pounds. And
I
he
feel
will
you, Aaron.
Fuck you up.
I don't feel you, Aaron.
Vicious. His nickname is the Hawk.
Oh.
As a fighter, which the only other Hawk I know is, well, there's a few, but Andre Dawson was the other big Hawk. And as big as he is, I think Aaron Pryor would still kick his fucking ass and keep this nickname.
Andre Dawson was the Hawk? How did I not know that?
I don't know.
I loved that guy.
Yeah, he was the Hawk.
Okay.
Also,
Connie Hawkins?
He was probably the Hawk.
Yeah.
And what was it? I think they called Harrelson, the old Met guy from the 60s, the Hawk, too. There's a bunch of Hawks. Hawk's a good name.
Yeah.
It's a solid name.
Yeah.
It's arm wrestling Sylvester Stallone.
Yep.
It's a solid name.
Sure is.
You hear Hawk, you think that's a man.
Right.
That's a dude right there. He's tough.
Or there's a military guy.
He'll rip your shitting arm off is what I'm getting at. That's the point.
Fucking A will.
Fucking A right. You won't have a prayer in Vegas is what I'm getting at. I love making references no one understands. Two people are like, I know that.
It's a great movie.
It's great. It's terrible, but I love it.
Yeah.
So, he's too small for football, he said. Obviously too short for basketball. That wasn't a thing. He wasn't a real fast guy on his feet, so his track wasn't an option. He said boxing was the only thing he could really do, and he had lots of aggression and quick hands and no fear.
None.
He just comes in swinging. He has the most exciting fighting style you've ever seen in the ring. His fights look like staged fights in movies where you're like, nobody fights like that. In boxing, you dance a little and you throw jabs and you feel each other out. And in movies, it's just bam, bam, everybody's throwing bombs. In his fights, it's just two dudes dropping bombs.
Incredible.
That's all it is. It's fun as fuck. So, he says, everybody quickly saw his potential and said that he looked like, the best prospect in 20 years coming out of Cincinnati. He looked great. A professional fighter who's a friend of his and at the time kind of was at the gym at the same time as him says, quote, Aaron was a natural. He could stay up all night with a girl and come in the next day and work out like nothing happened. The only problem anybody ever had with him back then was getting him out of the gym.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's all he was interested in. And then, girls, but then he'd go right back in the gym. They said he wouldn't even drink a Coke. He wouldn't even have a soda because he said it was like acidic and it wasn't good for,
right.
It wasn't good for his balance.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't help him as a fighter. So why drink it is what he said.
So he works out all day and then he goes and works on his stamina and comes right the fuck back.
That's it. Comes right back in there, ready to work in the morning. In his amateur career, he had 220 fights.
My fuck.
So let's add up. The guys don't do this anymore. Let's add up the brain damage. Over 220 fights. Let's start with that.
Boy.
And a lot of those are headgear, like the Golden Gloves and shit, but you're still getting punched in the fucking face. Your brain's still getting rattled. And 1973 equipment wasn't that wonderful either.
I can't imagine.
Not good. 204 wins and 16 losses as an amateur, which is amazing.
It's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. He said he got the nickname the Hawk, quote, because I swoop down on my opponents. That's because he's dropping bombs. I don't know where he got that. It's weird because one of his best friends' last name is Hawk. And everybody calls him Hawk, and then they call him Hawk. So they
call both Hawk?
It's Hawk and Hawk.
Oh, Jesus.
Or they could be Hawk and Son Trucking Company.
Yeah.
Again.
Very similar.
So he wins the National AAU Lightweight Championship in 1973. 1974, he's got a son.
Jesus.
Steven.
Oh.
So that's good.
Steven,
that's promising. At least it's not Aaron Jr.
Yeah.
So that's good. Now,
he wouldn't want to name anybody after him because he doesn't know where the fuck his name's from.
Well, let's see. Let's find out. Let's see if when he gets some pride in him, let's see how he starts feeling about his name. In 1975, he won the AAU Lightweight Championship again and a silver medal at the Pan American Games.
How about that?
He lost to a Canadian guy named Chris Clark that year. 1975, he's the United States Golden Gloves champion at his weight class, which is insane. 1976, United States Golden Gloves champ in his weight class. This dude's nasty. He beat Thomas Hearns who is one of my favorite fighters at all time. If you want to watch the greatest fucking 3 minutes in boxing ever, watch Hagler Hearns. Look it up. It's two badass dudes beating the shit out of each other till one of them can't stand up anymore. It's amazing.
It's the reason you've heard of Hagler and Hearns.
Oh, it's
That's why.
amazing. Yeah. Hearns is, I love Hagler and I love Hearns. They're both just, God damn it, fighters were so awesome in the fucking 70s and 80s. Those fights were great. There was just, you could name 50 amazing fighters from a 5-year period. Now I can't name 3 fighters. I can't name 3 boxers now. I know there's a Russian guy. Yeah. There's a dude who was undefeated, but something happened to him.
There's a lot of Central American ones.
Yeah, now there's a couple Americans, but it's not even who the fuck knows. Eastern Europeans.
Oh, you're talking about heavyweights too? Heavyweights, I can't name any.
That division's fucked. But even the lightweights. I mean, the lightweight division was still good until 2000, mid 2000s. I mean, it was still the 90s was a good 80s and 90s. Then with De La Hoya and Trinidad and Vargas and all those guys, they had it was fun. Mosley, and good times there. But Thomas Hearns is a bad motherfucker. Anyway, this was in the lightweight finals of the 76 National Golden Gloves, but then he lost to Howard Davis Jr. Fucking Jr. steps in at the 1976 Olympic trials. And so he ended up being an alternate in the 76 Olympic Games. Okay. So he almost made it to the Olympics, right to the end there in Montreal. Yep. That year, gold medals were won by Sugar Ray Leonard and Michael and Leon Spinks.
How about that?
Leon Spinks, who beat Muhammad Ali, and Michael Spinks, who got knocked out in 90 seconds in spectacular fashion by Mike Tyson after he was like undefeated, and everyone said he was going to beat Mike Tyson, and it didn't work out that way.
The Spinkses were great fighters, though, all around.
Yeah, I don't think they're related to these Spinkses. No.
How about that?
I don't think they're related.
How about that? To be that great at the same time and not...
One sounds like an investment banker and the other one can't speak English barely. So I'm going to say they're probably not from the same family. Okay. Just one of those things. They're probably not brothers. If one's like, well, sir, I'm not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe. And then the other guy is, fucking just...
The other guy's like, that banana looks
The other
delicious.
guy has no teeth. Leon Spinks had like one tooth over here. Yeah. Like at one point, the cops were looking for him and they had... This is a Leon Spinks thing. We'll probably do an episode one day, but the cops were looking for him, and they had found in the hotel that he ran away from. He had left his fucking teeth and his watch. So the cops put out a thing in the press that, hey, Leon, we have your teeth. So if you want your teeth back, turn yourself in, and we'll fucking give you your teeth back. Right. So I'm like, that's good leverage. You can't eat anything until you turn yourself in.
One won't fall for the banana in the tailpipe, and the other one will eat the banana in the tailpipe.
Yeah, he'll eat the tailpipe.
All he can eat.
He's like, I don't know, looks good to me. He doesn't care. He's been hitting the head a lot. So he returns to Cincinnati. He doesn't even know if he's going to keep boxing after he lost that Olympic trial, because he feels like it's over. It's like, well, that's it. I blew my shot. I guess I'm done. Yeah. What am I going to do now?
Muhammad Ali's from Louisville, right?
Yeah, he's from Louisville. So
that's why. Yeah, that makes more sense too. I love him because he's right there.
Absolutely, he would be in that area.
So close, hometown, and it's probably bananas up there.
Oh, I would think
how much they loved him,
especially if you were from that area and black in the 60s. He's got to be for everybody he was a fucking hero. But I mean, if you were a black kid, you'd have to be like, because I would have loved.
He looks like
I would have been like, awesome.
And he's
fucking awesome.
Yeah,
every kid should have liked him, black or white or anything. Any kid would have thought he was cool unless they were like, I don't know kids that are
dicks.
Well, I don't know a lot of kids that are super conservative at 8 years old either. They're more like, that guy's cool. I don't think they really care about his political views.
He really shouldn't be a showboat like that either.
A lot of people didn't like Muhammad Ali. He was, in the
loud.
In the Frazier fight, he's the villain.
Yeah.
I mean, they always make him the villain.
Sure.
Because,
he's loud.
He's loud. He was he's loud. He was Muslim. He wouldn't fucking participate in war.
Open opinions.
Yeah. The people who were like pro Vietnam just hated everything he was about. And, that's why he didn't box for years. And
makes so much sense.
Robbed of his fucking prime.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, that is a bummer. So, so he ended up, coming back home, and he at the airport, but to meet his plane is his one friend, Ken Hawk, the other Hawk.
Oh boy.
He had a 20-foot sign with him that said, "Welcome home, Aaron. You're still my champ," which is sweet as shit. I gotta say, that's nice.
Is also, it a stiff sign, or is it like
odd?
Is it like flimsy where he's got to hold one side and then he's like, "Hold on, don't get off the plane yet. I feel like read this half."
Dot matrix printer paper is just as long. Hold on a minute, sir. Excuse me. Do you speak in? Can you hold? Hold it up. Look,
hold that side. It says
2 seconds. Aaron, look.
Okay, come out now.
Okay, come on. So, so that's his amateur career. So, he ends up saying, fuck it, I guess I have to go pro. He's talked into that. People are like, it's not over. You just start fighting for money now. And he's like, oh, all right. Well,
I can do that.
I can do that, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah, I got nothing better to do. So, November 12th, 1976, in Cincinnati, his hometown, which most of his fights take place in Cincinnati.
Really?
If he can fight in Cincinnati, he does. He likes it. He fights Larry Smith, who is just as nondescript as his name. He's a former kickboxer. This is also his boxing debut.
Really?
So 0-0. Larry Smith ends up 0-8 in his career. So maybe go back to, maybe find another discipline. Maybe try judo next or something, but this isn't working. TKO in round 2, 1-0 for Aaron. He made $400 that match.
Wow.
So his first match, he makes $400 to beat the hell out of Larry. So take that, Larry. So a few days later, he finds a manager. He signs a managerial contract with a Guinea named Buddy LaRosa.
Yeah.
So, if you're an up-and-coming boxer, you find yourself a Guinea to manage you back then. And this guy was the owner of La Rosa's Pizzeria. Okay? This guy's where he gets his money. Now.
Unbelievable.
La Rosa's Pizzeria, is that the place we got the fucking pizza from at Bogart's when we went there last year and did the live show? Because if it is the worst pizza in the country.
It may have been.
I don't know if it was, but if it was La Rosa's, whatever's near Bogart's where we got is the worst pizza in the United States. Trust me, because I have a thing where we go all over the country. I always get pizza because it's the thing it's the thing least likely to poison you. Fuck easy. There's hardly anything to mess up. It's cooked to shit.
Your body digests it well.
It's fine.
Yeah. It's very easy.
We get that. It was the worst pizza in the United States, if it's that pizza. If not, I apologize, La Rosa's. But if it is, fucking avoid that horse shit.
It may not still be open.
It is, because it's a chain of pizzerias serving tons of Cincinnati, Greater Dayton, Central Ohio, Northern Kentucky, Southeast Indiana, and Central Tennessee.
Oh, my God.
It's founded in 1954. They have, this guy bought his partners out. They also have the exclusive pizza that's served at the Coney Island Amusement Park, at the Cincinnati Zoo, at all the shit like that, at the ballpark that the Reds play in, the Great American Ballpark. This dude's a player in the pizza game.
Yeah.
Now he's going to be a player in the boxing game. So they call him in the paper, quote, Cincinnati Pizza King Buddy LaRosa, which is amazing.
Yeah.
He manages him. He said that Pryor had the ability to be a boxer and also just a straight brawler. He said, quote, he was a finisher, and that's not a bad thing. When Aaron would get his opponent in trouble, that's when you saw the Tasmanian Devil. He was like a shark, man. He'd be on you and you'd think he's really attacking this guy. And then you'd see the guy kind of cover up for a second. A shot hurt him. And then that's when he would double speed.
Wow.
Now he's really trying to get you. He would smell blood. He's nasty. So La Rosa said at this point when he's boxing, he said, quote, he wasn't a kid anymore. He was 21 years old by then, but you could see he was special. He had something. I think you could hit Aaron with a baseball bat and he might blink an eye. I remember taking him to a dentist one time and he had all his teeth then, and we had to extract one. The dentist took an x-ray and said to me afterward, look at that jaw structure. Just look at this. And it was unbelievable. Built like a Mack truck he was. What kind of jaw structure do you have to make a dentist take another person aside to share your personal medical records with them?
To impress a dentist to where he's like, come here for a minute.
To violate doctor-patient privilege. Well, I mean, he might have asked, do you mind if I show this guy?
I see that you are not his parent, but I would really love to show you how amazing this is.
And it also stinks of you bought this young man, right? I hope so, because he's got a good jaw on him. It's going to be strong for you.
I want to show you something. Careful of all my jizz all over it.
Pardon
look
me.
At this.
I did jizz. There's a puddle over here, a little bit on the picture. So February 1st, 1977 is the second fight, also in Cincinnati, versus Larry Moore. He will fight anyone in the state of Ohio named Larry. I'll take on all comers! Bring it, Larry, you fucking bitch! Anybody named Larry.
All Larrys.
You feel like he's just conquering a beef as a kid. Somebody named Larry picked on him. Larry's 15-13, coming in 17-28 for his career. TKO in round 3 for Aaron brings him to 2-0. February 24th. So we won't go through every single fight. He's got 40 fights. So the beginning, we'll breeze through these kind of close-up ones to give you a portrait of brain damage. And then we'll concentrate on the big fights and guys with hilarious names. So we'll
and all the Larrys.
And anybody named
Larry
fucking Larry.
His names.
And Larry. Hilarious. So he's 2-0. February 24th, 1977 in Cincinnati. He branches out to people not named Larry and fights Harvey. He's looking for a Harvey now. Harvey the Candyman Wilson.
Jesus.
It's because he gave candy to the spectators as he came to the ring. That's not true.
Okay.
I don't know why the fuck he's the Candyman, because he's so sweet.
Yeah.
6-23-1 for the Candyman.
Yeesh.
I think he should try giving his opponent some candy and maybe soften him up a little. 6-37-1 for his career.
Hey.
So not great. This is a first round TKO. Aaron eats this guy up like candy. So 3-0. He was a giant pixie stick and Aaron just snorted him. 3-0 for Aaron. March 12th, 77. Fucking 2.5 weeks later. Lincoln Heights, Ohio versus Nick Willis, who's 0-5 coming in, and he'll be 0-13 for his career. First round knockout. 4-0 for Aaron. So, one of his trainers here later on said, quote, "The badder the guy was, the more Aaron wanted to stop him. You've got some guys who wilt under the pressure, but Aaron got stronger under pressure, and he would get to the point where he actually drooled. He actually drooled at the mouth. That much animal instinct would come out of him. You could see the stuff dripping from his mouthpiece."
Gross.
Because he's like a shark or like some kind of, he'd get in the ring and turn into another thing. He was like the Tasmanian devil. That's what he looked like, a human version of that. Yeah. Just that mannerism.
The badder the guy, the worse he got. Tell me about how bad he was when he beat the shit out of a dude that ended 0-13.
Yeah, exactly. Real bad.
Ended him in the second round, for Christ's sake. First round.
Mauled him like a fucking bear. So March 26th, 77, that's 2 weeks later in Cincinnati, he fights Isaac Vega, who is, he wanted to fight him because that's his dad's name. He's a fucking bastard. He's just settling scores. 0-0 coming in. Debut for this guy. Never fought before. And then this lunatic tornado's coming at you. 12-12 career, so he turns into kind of a half-assed journeyman. Second round knockout, 5-0 for Aaron. Now, May 7th, 77, this is a different kind of fight here. He fights a guy, it's in Cincy. He fights Jose Resto, who is 13-62-8 coming in.
My God.
That's a veteran.
Yeah.
That's a guy who knows.
He's really good at getting his ass kicked.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a guy who, against a young fighter, will know how to give him trouble, though, and know how to. It's a guy who knows how to stay alive.
Okay.
It's a guy who probably, if he can still walk and talk and tie his shoes, he probably knows how to go the distance and not get hit too hard.
Right.
And also not hit you very hard. He's like Homer Simpson when he was in his boxing career, probably. He finishes his career 13-73-8.
Golly.
The last 28 fights of his career, he was 0-27-1.
Why would you bother?
Why?
What are you doing?
I guess money if you need the cash, but Jesus Christ, man.
Good Lord.
His last loss was to a guy named Lou Bizarro. And Bizarro, like Bizarro Superman, right? So Lou Bizarro. So I'm like, who the fuck is Lou Bizarro? I gotta find out who Lou Bizarro is, right? Yeah. So I find this guy. He's the funniest man I've ever seen, Jimmy. He's a little guinea with a mustache.
Of course he is.
And his name is Luigi Bizarro. His name's Luigi Bizarro, Jimmy. That's his real name. He's from Italy.
That is awesome.
Luigi Bizarro. He'll fight you tomorrow. He's fucking Luigi Bizarro. The hell kind of fight is it?
How did they
step into the ring? Hey,
right.
Come on.
How did they get Waluigi out of in Mario Brothers? Why didn't they just name him fucking Luigi Bizarro?
If you put a Luigi hat on this guy, he's fucking Luigi. That's the thing. It's amazing. Luigi Bizarro is. He comes in.
That's incredible.
Hey, I fight the guy. Come in. Hey, we punch. Hey, Luigi Bizarro. Hey, nice to meet you. I feel like he's very friendly.
Yeah.
It's a Luigi Bizarro.
Every fight, though.
He beat me again. Oh, no, I get beat up every time. He's a drooling and a punching me. I don't know why he's a punching me.
For me.
Please stop a punching me. Oh, no.
It's so sad. He's a human being, though. A real man.
Luigi Bizarro.
This is a real man.
This is a real person who's a public person who went out 33 times in public and fought professionally and won 31 of the fights.
That's amazing.
He finishes his career 31-2, Luigi Bizarro.
Why did he quit?
Because he went all 8 against Aaron Pryor, too. Or no, I'm sorry. He Luigi Bizarro just 31-2, and that was the end of it.
Why would he do do that?
I open up a nicer place.
Yeah.
I said, hey,
I got enough of money.
There's a neighborhood I need a place by the slice and make up nice pies and I throw it up into the air. People can see me toss it at the door. They toss it. It's a see. The shawarma man down to the street and I got my pies and it's a fine.
We compliment each other menu.
It's nice. You get it at the shawarma. Maybe someone will want a pie. So I say, maybe not a whole pie. Maybe I sell it by the slice. They have a little, you have that, you have a shawarma. I'll give you by the slice. Right. All right. So, 31
and 2. Pizza King only sells them by the whole pie.
Oh, he does not fucking around. That's why he's the Pizza King.
Right.
Luigi Bizarro's like, maybe somebody wanted a slice.
Maybe it's just to you.
Let me ask you, who is a Luigi Bizarro to tell you maybe you have a whole pie when you don't want the whole pie? You wanted just a slice. Yeah. Luigi Bizarro say, you have it a slice. Why not? You want to punch a Luigi Bizarro in the face? I take. I fight 33 times. I do okay.
I only lose 2.
I lose 2 fights, and one of them, unfortunately, was with my waistline. That's why I just say, I'm going to sell by the slice now. So Luigi Bizarro has nothing to do with the story, but that's hilarious.
He is great.
So this goes all 8 rounds, though. This is his first non-knockout win here, Aaron. Pryor goes unanimous decision for Aaron, but he couldn't quite get the guy to fall. 6-0. In September of 77, he fights at the Drawbridge Inn in Covington, Kentucky, which sounds terrible.
Right by the airport.
Cincinnati, you know what, Cincy? We liked you. We went there. It was a great show, great place. Get your own fucking airport. What's going on?
Why am I flying into another state?
Why am I flying into rural Kentucky to go to a goddamn city? What's happening here? It's another state, and it's not even like a part of the city. It's the woods, and it smells like sulfur, and then it's weird.
There is a patch of zero civilization between the airport and a giant city.
It's weird.
What the fuck is happening?
Yeah, he fights Melvin Young, who's 0-1 coming in, and 0-10 for his career, so knocks him out 7-0. In October, he fights Johnny Summerhays, who sounds like an old... It sounds like somebody from the Great Gatsby.
Or a type of weed.
Yes. Somebody who, a Gatsby character. It's Johnny Summerhays. He comes and I'd smoke the Summerhays. Yeah. Ooh, that's the Summerhays. That shit's good.
You better be careful with that. That's the Summerhays.
Citrusy, though. It's good. This guy's got 40, 22, and 3 for his career. Another unanimous decision. This one goes the limit 8-0 for Aaron. November of 77, he fights Angel Cintrone. He's 2-16 coming in, 2-19 for his career. Knocks him out, 9-0 for Aaron. January of 78, he fights, this is good. He fights Robert the Tiger Chiniera.
Yeah.
So he is 2-9 coming in, and he ends up 2-16 for his career. So the Tiger, not well here. TKO round 2, 10-0. Next, he fights in 78. He fights in Dayton. Ron Pettigrew, who's a journeyman, 11-49-5 for his career, and knocks him out in the second round. March 10th, 78, he fights in Cincy again. Al Franklin, who's a 43-40-4 fighter. And then he quit finally when he got to 43-43-4. He's like, I can't have more losses than wins. I'm done. I quit. He does get knocked out by Aaron Pryor here in the third round, 12-0. And then May 2nd, 78, he's down in Miami Beach.
Hell yeah.
A venture outside of the Kentucky, what is that little triangle there?
Don't know.
The Kentuckiana, whatever the fuck area, I don't know. Indiana and all that shit's in there.
Is it Kentuckiana something?
I have no idea.
Bet it is.
I've heard people say that, but I don't know what part of that is. I have no clue.
Don't look at me. I know nothing about geography.
I only know that right across the river we did that episode of Small Town Murder by Edgewater. That's right across from Cincinnati. So Scotty Foreman here's 8-3 coming in. He gets knocked out anyway. It doesn't matter.
Scotty Foreman
getting knocked out.
Yeah, in South Beach.
Scrappy Scotty getting knocked out in South Beach there. 13-0. 1978, a son is born for Aaron. He has a son, Aaron Jr.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
Number 2
is
Aaron Jr.?
Aaron Jr. Wow. Now he's feeling better about himself. He's 13-0.
Oh, that first baby feels like shit, though.
Yeah, you're like, oh, no, we'll just name him Steven. But 13-0, Aaron Jr.
Absolutely.
We'll put a belt across his little waist. So
That's crazy. He has no idea who the fuck he is or where he's from, and he's naming a kid. He
ends up with like 4 kids, possibly 5, all different mothers, of course, obviously.
Right.
So, he's Aaron Jr. here. So right away, this is the point where we should have really called Grace right before that.
Shit, yeah.
We should always call Grace right before they name their kid Junior. That should be the new rule. So July 1878 in Dayton, he fights Marion Tiger Thomas. Anybody in Ohio named Larry or Tiger, I'll fight Anybody.
That's true.
2 of his last 4 fights have been against Tiger.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this? 38-20-1 for that guy. Knocks him out in the 8th round, 14-0. March.
14 fights, 3 of them are Larry.
3 of Larrys and Tigers. That's all he's got. Anybody named Larry, Tiger, step it up, bitches.
Insane.
I'm the toughest fucking guy named Aaron in the whole state. So, it's March 16th, 79. He fights, this is an amazing guy here. In Cincy, he fights, Irish Johnny Copeland.
Oh, boy.
Which is terrible. They might as well just call him White Johnny Copeland because he's just the fucking whitest guy you're ever going to find. He just looks like not a boxer. We'll just put it that way. His hair, his mustache, none of it is good.
I love when anybody tags Irish on anything. We get it.
Yeah. Just especially in boxing. That just means white people, you root for him because we're telling you he's white.
Right.
That's what it is. See? He's Irish. Well, as promised.
There he is.
There he is.
It's all Irish.
37-31-1 for old Irish white Johnny here. Gets knocked out in the 7th round and stumbles back in a Guinness haze to the dressing room, and it doesn't matter anyway. 15-0 for Aaron. So April 13th, 1979, in Cincy, he fights Stormin' Norman Goins.
Really?
Stormin' Norman!
Jesus, God.
He's 22-10 coming in, so he's been storming at least 22 people.
He's doing all right.
26-15 for his career. He knocks Stormin' Norman out in the 9th, bringing him to 16-0. And later on, Aaron would say that Stormin' Norman had the best defense of anyone he ever fought.
Really?
He said, a guy I always remember is Norman Goins from Indianapolis. He was the one who was consistent. He was an international boxer as an amateur. We fought in 73 in Denver at the Golden Gloves. He was one of the only guys who hit me and hurt me, and they stopped the fight. I was only 16 and he was 20. He hurt me with a body shot. So when I was 20 and he was 24, we fought again in Cincinnati, and I knocked him out in the 9th round. All of that is true except for that he was not 20. They were 24 and 28. Okay. He had his years way the fuck off, but that's fine. Whatever.
Close enough, I guess.
He's recalling through cocaine and, what many lost brain cells from both drugs and punching. They go quick. So, April 27, 79, he fights Freddie the Stepper Harris. I guess he'll step to you. I don't know what the fuck he is. I think I know what it is because he's 5'3".
Oh, boy.
So I think he steps
Step
on
stool.
shit.
The step ladder.
The stepper. Yeah, he'll step up and
boy.
and punch you in the face, apparently.
Boy.
So the stepper here is...
because the step ladder stings too hard.
It's, Freddie needs a step ladder Harris is a little too mean. Is that too mean? Is that bad?
He's been hit so many times he doesn't even realize that he's being called step stool.
Nope. He's like, I'm the stepper. Why? I don't know. Everybody's giggling.
Somebody get me the stepper. I got to change a light bulb.
Come on. 17-32 for a career for the stepper. He gets knocked out in the 3rd round. 17-0 for Aaron. At this point, Sugar Ray Leonard comes to town, and he is in need. He's in Cincinnati and in need of a sparring partner.
Okay.
So at this point, Aaron Pryor's the choice here for Sugar Ray because he's also a southpaw and he's training to fight a lefty. So
got it.
That's the other thing. Aaron's a nut and he fights like that, and he's a southpaw. So his style is the most unconventional. If you're a fighter, you could fight 50 fights. You're never going to fight another wild swinging lefty like him. Most of the lefties are more... They seem to be a little more technical than this. So, he was a great amateur, and he just missed the Olympic team, so this was a good sparring partner for Sugar Ray. He said, quote, this was a guy who was a trainer of Pryor's. He said, Ray had been shadow boxing, and he worked up a good sweat. We called Aaron, and when he arrived, I told him to warm up, but he refused because he wanted to quickly get in the ring with Ray. So
right now, I don't have time for that.
World-class fighter, Olympic gold medalist. I don't need to warm up for him.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. Ray was warmed up and Aaron was still cold, but they went to war. He's in there with his jeans on. Go fucking work boots or something. I guess, this was Sugar Ray was undefeated and he was about to become champ too. Pryor was also 7 pounds lighter than him at the time. So Sugar Ray's got every advantage possible here. And the trainer said, quote, it was a fantastic sight to see Ray at his peak and Aaron was coming into his own, and Aaron had something to prove because he didn't make the Olympic team. Apparently they were just bombing on each other. Sugar Ray controlled it in the early goings with a lot of jabs, and he was a really fancy fancy boxer, so he was nasty. And he knocked Pryor down in the second round. They said, but quote, but Aaron quickly got up from that knockdown and the tide turned in his favor. Aaron was getting the best of Ray in the third round, and that's when Ray's trainer, Jenks Morton, said the session was over. So
how about that?
You can't defend this onslaught for... Yeah. That's the thing is, like, most guys, you'd see like Tyson come out and bomb it on people in the first round, but eventually it kind of gets more into a boxing match if the guy can last. This guy could keep that pace up for 15 rounds.
Wow.
He could just swing constantly, never stop and never get tired for 15 rounds. You can't defend that. Yeah. You know, you can do it for a few rounds, but after that, it's going to get through. It's like Tyson's punch out.
Right. The mental toll on it alone is it beats you. And then you got to deal with pain too.
That's the thing. Remember the Indian guy in Punch Out, and you had to cover while he did the little thing and disappeared, and then showed up and went, poof, and then hit you, and you had to cover.
Right.
He did it like 3 times, and you could do it. If he did that 20 times, he'd start getting you eventually. You'd fuck up the timing, something would be off, and so it's one of those things. So he said that the first time, this is Sugar Ray Leonard here, the first time I saw him, I thought he was a crazy fuck. Mm-hmm. That's what he says about him. Aaron was there among the top fighters during that time. I don't care if Aaron was going to fight Joe Schmo, he still had a kamikaze mentality. He had heart, he fought with conviction. So that's it there. Next fight for him is against Al Ford. If anybody needs a nickname.
Al Ford.
Tiger?
Jesus. May as well.
We'll call him Tiger.
We'll call him Al Larry Ford.
Al Larry Tiger Ford. Come on in. That sounds like a dealership. He's 50-9 coming in. Wow. Not bad. 55-19-0 for his career. Gets knocked out in the fourth round. 18-0 for Aaron. A couple weeks later, he fights Jose Fernandez, who is 28-14-3 coming in. This will be his last fight as Aaron knocks him out in the first round, bringing him to 19-0. He then fights Alfonso Peppermint Frazier, which is awesome. Yeah. So he's fought the Candyman, the Peppermint, 2 Larrys, a couple of Tigers, and an Al, and a Melvin. Who else? An Irish and fucking a guy who fought Luigi Bizarro.
Yeah.
What is happening? So anyway, Peppermint, though, was 42-13-3 coming in, so not a bad fighter. Yeah. He gets knocked out in the fifth round, 20-0 for Aaron. 20 fights now, and he's establishing himself. Next fight's 1980 in February at the Tropicana in Vegas.
Hell yeah!
Finally getting out of the Cincinnati area. He fights Juan Garcia, who is 1-6 in his career and 1-8 to finish his career.
Why does that guy get to fight at the Tropicana?
I don't know who he paid off or who he pissed off, I should say, to have to fight him. And I don't know, but he got knocked out in the first round.
Of course.
This was just a display of look at what Aaron Pryor can do. Isn't it fun? One of those. 21-0. Next, he fights in Miami. 2 weeks later, he fights Julio El Diablito Valdez.
Yeah.
So the little devil.
Yeah,
the little devil here. Julio, the little devil Valdez. And he knocks the little devil out in the fourth round and brings him to 22-0. December 28th, 1980. He's got a fiance named Teresa.
Yeah.
Now, he's already been married and divorced quickly with his first son and everything. Now, he's got a fiance named Teresa who shoots him with a 22.
Oh, my Jesus.
So it's weird. No matter how much you don't want to, you end up finding someone like your mom, and that's what he did.
Why is he getting shot at?
Because he's drawn to women who shoot their boyfriends. Who knows? And he was probably beating her up the same way his stepfather's beating her. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who the fuck knows? But Teresa, it grazes his abdomen.
My God.
And lodges in his forearm. So
Jesus.
She almost hit him with a body shot. Like, this was crazy. Now, this woman's name is Teresa Adams. When she's arrested, she claims to be Pryor's wife, claims they were married in New Orleans on November 25th, and Pryor's attorney said they're not married. What are you talking about? So they did a check of all the records and finally turned up no marriage certificate. She said it was New Orleans. There was nothing filed there. She also said that her and Pryor were in the process of adopting a baby from the Catherine Booth Home for Unwed Mothers in Cincinnati. No. But the director of the home said, we have no knowledge of this at all.
So she is a straight up lunatic.
She shot him, lied about being his wife, and then made up a baby completely.
Or every time he comes home and she's pissed off at him. He's like, I'll marry you, girl. Maybe he had some bullshit ceremony made. Maybe filled out paperwork that just threw away.
I would believe New Orleans, the city where they were allegedly married, has no record of their marriage.
Jesus.
So they weren't married there. They weren't married illegally anyway. And I would believe that maybe they did some secret thing. If the adoption agency lady said, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never heard of this person. She said that, they released her on bail, and she's told the press, that's my husband and we're adopting a baby. And they was like, no. But he still marries her.
What? Jesus God.
He says he doesn't wish to file charges and then fucking marries her.
Unbelievable.
You know what? That's what it feels like to be your husband.
I like it.
We're going to do this.
I really like it.
You know what? I like it.
Love stings a little.
I feel like you love me. I could feel it in my arms.
I can feel it in my abdomen and forearm.
Just feel it. I feel like you love me. That's one of those things. Maybe he needs that to feel a relationship. He's got to get shot at once in a while to really get it going.
Hit.
Oh, no, yeah,
fucking hit.
Oh, yeah, grazed.
Not
and
shot at. Hit.
Especially if it hits your arm. You're like, I need those. Like,
oh, boy.
What the fuck here? So April 13th, 1980, he goes to Kansas City and fights Leonidas Mano de Herrera Esperia. Right. So, 17-1 coming in, and 21-8-3 for his career. He gets a TKO in the 10th round, 23-0 for old Aaron. Fucking 22 in his forearm and all. Why would you marry the person who shot you?
I can't
What
imagine.
is happening?
No.
So, Buddy DeRosa, this is a little about Aaron, a little kind of side shit on him. In the ring, once you get him in the ropes, boy, he is 1,000% in there. But to actually herd him places is not easy. No. He's like a duckling that's
to get him in the ropes,
wandering. Oh yeah, because he'll just wander off. You got to find him. No, Aaron, this way. And once you get him in there, I can kill him. Okay, great. His buddy LaRosa said, quote, the guy likes a nice crispy pie. No, I'm just kidding. He didn't say anything about his pizza preferences. He said, quote, whenever he had to catch a flight, I was in charge of getting him to the airport and making sure he had what he needed. One time he had to go to the airport and I wasn't around. So he went to the airport, and as I heard the story from him, and he had to leave his car at the curb. He left it at the curb and told, I don't know who it was, the guy there, quote, that's my car. I'll get it when I come back. That's not...
you can't do that.
You just can't. Even in the 70s,
that's
you couldn't do that.
No.
They would just be like, well, we don't know who you are.
Right.
And you can't leave your car there.
You holler at impound.
Yeah. You could do the movie thing where you toss in the keys and go, keep it. Yeah, you could do that. The 80s movie.
It's yours now.
Another over-the-top reference. Jesus. He gave away a Toyota pickup at the airport. So, you can't do that.
No.
But that's the kind of guy. He doesn't know how to do stuff, like regular life stuff that well, which is not abnormal for our people.
No. That seems to be a growing theme.
It's a huge theme.
It's been growing for 3 years.
Yeah. The more as a child you're trained to do one specific thing, the less you know how to do anything else in the world. It's weird. It's super weird.
Yeah.
Like, I remember reading when Peyton Manning was in his third year in the NFL, he didn't know how to dress himself.
Well, that makes sense.
He was like, I don't know what matches. My girlfriend has to lay my clothes out for me. And I'm like, because he just I never had to do it. I don't know.
I don't care.
Wore a Tennessee polo. And that was my outfit.
It matches all jeans.
Every damn dude. That orange, boy. It matches.
Goes with all jeans.
That volunteer orange.
That brownish orange stitching on the jeans matches just perfect.
It pops, boy. You never even know. So he fights Carl Crawley next, who's 17-5. Anyone in Ohio with 17 wins, every one of these guys, 17 wins, named Larry or Tiger, he will fight you.
Yeah.
God damn it. 24-19 for his career. Knockout in the first round, 24-0 for Aaron. He fights next. This next one, though, is for the WBA World Super Lightweight title.
It's about time.
It's his title fight. This is his 25th fight. He fights Antonio Kid Pambele Cervantes.
Yeah.
And he has a lot of respect for this guy. This guy is 87-10 coming in.
Oh, my God.
So, journeyman. Bad motherfucker.
Why does that guy... Why don't we know who that is?
That's what I mean.
With that many wins?
If you were a boxing fan back then, you'd know who he was, but he's not a guy who survived. Yeah. He's 91-12-3 for his career.
That's outstanding.
It is, but it was before, I don't know, it's just he fell between the cracks. And Aaron Pryor fell between. You never heard of Aaron Pryor, and he's a fucking legend. That's what I mean. This is a fourth round knockout for Aaron, 25-0. His purse for this fight is biggest so far, $50,000.
Oh.
So not bad for 1980.
Yeah.
So that's a good deal. Now, he says about Cervantes, looking back on my career, I would like to say a guy by the name of Antonio Cervantes. Cervantes had 100 fights, held the championship for about 10 years in separate reigns until he fought me. He knocked me down in the first round, and I got back up and knocked him out. I think Cervantes was one of the greatest I ever fought. Mm-hmm. And that's the other thing, too. Pryor will get knocked down once in a while, because with his style, he'll catch one once in a while. Sure. It's almost like off balance, knock him down. He'll get right back up again, though, and be wanting to fight. So then he takes the belt and he fights Danny Myers, who's a goofy blonde-looking guy.
Of course,
he looks like fucking like Mark Eaton, the old
surfer,
the old basketball player. Yeah, he looks like Mark Eaton if you shrunk him and put boxing gloves on him. Does that sound tough?
No,
not against this guy. Third round knockout, 26-0. 2 weeks later, he fights Gaetan Hart, who's a very goofy-looking white guy. He's Canadian and he looks like a moose.
Yeesh.
His nose, like the bridge of his nose, starts over like in the middle of his eyes. He's one of these weird looking,
big fat wide nose.
He looks like a moose. I can't even explain him any other way.
Oh boy.
We should post a picture. I'll try to remember to post a picture on social media there. But he gets TKO'd in the 6th round. Mm-hmm. Pryor makes $100,000 for this fight.
Now we're talking.
Stepping it up.
Yeah.
Now in December 1980, there's an offer on the table of $500,000 to fight Sugar Ray Leonard for the WBC welterweight championship.
Yeah.
Pryor turns it down.
Really?
Turns it down, says he wants more money.
Well, that's stupid.
Which is fair. Well, I mean, if there, I don't know what the economics of boxing was at that point. If Sugar Ray was making $8 million and he's making $500,000, I could see trying to get a little more out of him.
What year is this?
This is 1980.
Okay. So there could be millions on the table.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So especially for Sugar Ray, Olympic hero, and that's a big fight.
Right.
He's offered. So then they offer him $750,000, and he says nope. No, thank you. He instead signs to fight WBC welterweight champion Saul Mambi in a unification bout for $1 million.
Oh.
So he's going to get paid here. They schedule it for February 7th, 1981, although the problem is the fight ends up falling through and doesn't happen. So then he doesn't get the Leonard fight or this fight.
No money.
No, the promoter, Harold Smith, disappears into hiding amid allegations that he was involved in $21.3 million worth of fraud against Wells Fargo Bank.
Oh, what a dickhead.
So he just took off and like everyone was like calling him, so, we're getting the ring in on this day.
Wow.
Leaving him messages. Are we what happened? Eventually they just didn't have the fight anymore because they couldn't find him. His real name, the Smith guy, was Ross Fields, and he's later sentenced to 10 years in prison after he's convicted of 29 counts of fraud and embezzlement.
Good Lord.
So, that's your typical fight promoter, basically. I mean, it's, these guys are
Fire Festival, same thing.
Yeah, these guys are. It is. Yeah. That's what he basically did. He pulled a Fire Festival scheme with a fight. So
unbelievable.
Then Pryor is offered $750,000. I wish people are offering me $750,000 million all over the place.
And
to
he
fight
went
people.
from $100,000 to no to $750,000. No, $1 million. I'll do it.
I'll fight Sugar Ray Leonard for $750,000 right now.
Yeah. Next deal that we get, we tell him multiply it by 10. And then we'll talk.
Sorry, I don't know. They won't do it, and we'll end up with nothing.
We'll end up homeless.
Yeah, but it'll feel good to say.
If you can multiply that by 10, that'd be great.
That'd be great.
We won't.
No?
Okay, we'll take the original.
All right, well, we'll talk about the first one then. So, $750,000 to fight Roberto Duran, who's a bad dude, in April of 81, but he turns it down because his new attorney told him not to sign anything until he had a new contract with different cut of the pay worked out with manager Pizza King La Rosa.
Yeah.
By the time they worked out the agreement, the Duran fight was off the table and Duran was fighting somebody else. So he's blown. We've seen him lose about $2.5 million in fights in just the last year.
Jesus.
That's not great. June 27th, 81, at the Hacienda Hotel in Vegas, he fights Lennox Blackmore.
Hey, boy.
Who's... that's if you were to give him if he was like a 90s action movie, his name would be Lennox Blackmore, and he'd just be like this tough black dude because that's exactly what he looks like.
Yeah, that's more black.
Yeah. 23-2 coming in. TKO in the second round for Lennox. He's Lennox fucking Sleepmore that day. Gets knocked out. November 14th, 81 in Cleveland, he fights Duane Mr. Excitement Johnson.
How exciting is he?
He's excited. 17-0 coming in.
Yeah.
Anyone with 17 wins, he will fucking fight you. Johnson knocks Pryor down in the first round, coming out storming, but Pryor comes back to eventually knock him out in the 7th round, 29-0. March 21st, 82 at the Playboy Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City.
Yeah.
That sounds sleazy.
Up there?
In
Good
AC,
Lord.
the Playboy Hotel and Casino in Atlanta. You know how much jizz is all over that place? Oh, God.
The one in Vegas was dirty enough.
Can you imagine AC?
Yeah.
With salt water fucking
God.
residue all over everything, too,
Yeah.
and jizz? Twice as much for a jizz-free room it costs. Would you like jizz or non-jizz? Non-jizz? Okay, that'll be.
It's like the smoking and non.
Yeah, it's just jizz or non. How much jizz would you like in your room? Would you like it lightly jizzed or would you like a full glaze? What would you like? Which room? We have a plethora. 12th round knockout here. Third TKO. 30-0 here. So Pryor then signs finally to face Sugar Ray Leonard.
Okay.
This is going to be for the undisputed welterweight title in the fall of 82. $750,000. Same number. But before fighting Pryor, Leonard first has to fight Roger Stafford in Buffalo. The Sunday before the bout, Pryor is driving to Buffalo from Cincinnati to taunt Leonard and hype their planned bout. Basically, he's going to go to the press conference and be like, you better get this punk out of the way because I'm going to kick your ass next and, do one of that shit. So at this point, while he's driving there, Pryor hears on the car radio that Leonard suffered a detached retina in his left eye while sparring and the fight's off.
That motherfucker.
So he goes, fuck. He said, quote, I pulled off to the side of the road and I cried. That's what Aaron said.
I can't imagine.
Which I don't know how you wouldn't.
Yeah.
And Sugar Ray ended up retiring.
Because of that.
Yeah, he came back later on to fight Hagler and a bunch of other fights, but he ended up retiring for a few years to have surgery and shit. So instead, he has to, on July 4th, he has to fight, what a weird fight, Japanese guy on the 4th of July. Akio Kameda, who's 17-0 coming in.
God damn it.
This is remarkable. It's been like 9 guys of 17 wins are named Larry or Tiger.
There's got to be a line that 17 is the minimum, right?
I don't know what it is. It's so weird.
It's interesting.
27-4 coming in. Just a weird anomaly of math. I don't know. Pryor knocked down in the first round again. But by the 6th round, he knocks this guy down and then drapes his corpse with an American flag and dances around his fallen, the fallen Japanese foe. Or 6th round TKO, 31-0. August 1982, he has another kind of fight, a paternity fight. He's ready to throw down in court over paternity.
For Aaron Jr.?
No, different. This is just some other kid here.
God, Jesus.
A woman named Deborah Harris wins a 6-2 favorable decision from a Cincinnati jury that includes 5 women in the jury, and a special blood test in the paternity case. This is pre-DNA, so it was a lot harder to determine paternity. Basically, this is for her 9-year-old son, Antoine Toneely. Antoine Toneely Harris. So he's got almost the same middle name as Aaron here. She said that it's his kid from 9 years ago and that he deserves a share of his father's wealth at this point. So 9 years. She saw him on TV and was like, oh shit, he did something good. I'm going to sue this guy. So, I mean, I don't know. He didn't fucking take care of his kid, I guess.
But I hate that phrase. That phrase alone
share
stinks
his father's wealth.
Of her being an asshole.
Yeah, but he should also have
She's right.
She's right. She could have put it better.
The share could be small.
She could have said he needs to take care of his kid.
Right.
And everyone would have went, he needs to put food on his kid's table.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. But share his father's wealth sounds
Gross.
bad. It sounds like it's sharing it with her and not him. So anyway, attorney here said, quote, the jury has made its determination. Now it's up to the court to make a decision on how much he'll pay unless it's settled out of court. They said that he's still denying it no matter what anyway, and he still regardless of what any court says, he says it's not my kid.
Okay.
So they really need like a...
But they're making him pay anyway.
Yeah, they're making him pay anyway, obviously. They really need
for somebody else's kid.
Absolutely. I'm so sad Maury wasn't on the air back then because they could have really settled this whole thing in dramatic fashion.
Fucking dramatic, fantastic fashion.
She would have been dancing in his face. Yeah.
Or he's doing backflips.
She would have shot him. It would have been great.
That is my favorite one, like the guy when
oh, God, it's so funny.
Horrible thing in the world.
It's just the funniest thing.
When it's not him, and she runs off crying because she looks like an asshole now.
It's only, okay, when it's only one guy and she thinks that's the kid's father, then I feel bad for the drugs. Now she's like, oh, fuck, now what do I do?
When she comes back 8 times?
When it's like, this is the 6th guy we've tested, and she runs off crying, it's like, stop crying! You were fucking going, you weren't like, I'm positive. What? Oh my God, my shock to my system.
Right.
You were like, well, it's either him or the other one. I don't know. I'm running out of options here. That's what you were doing.
Did you sit on a jizz puddle? How did this happen?
No way I'm going to get him to come here. He's not going to come here, so I hope it's this one. So, so he's going to have to pay something. November 12th, 1982, at the Orange Bowl in Miami. This is a giant venue, for Christ's sake. He fights Alexis Arguello, who is a badass. This guy, legendary fighter. This fight is considered one of the top 3 fights of the 80s.
Really?
It was fight of the decade for a long time. It's one of the greatest fights of all time.
And I loved boxing.
It happened in 82. I mean, we were both a little young for this. But,
I was one.
But it's a legendary fight. You want to watch 2 guys bomb on each other for 14 rounds. This is what you watch. Alexis and Aaron here.
Sounds like a girl fight.
It does. Alexis and Aaron, and they're very upset with each other.
Drunk.
And they're very drunk. They've had a bad night. And, the Uber's very late, and it's too late, and they've had an argument now. And unless it pulls up in 5 minutes, one of them's going to take their shoes off and hit the other one with them.
I would also watch that fight.
I want to watch that fight more. Because someone's going to bleed in that fight.
Yes.
Even if they don't hit each other, someone's going to fall down by accident.
Get a bloody elbow at minimum.
Not remember how it happened the next day. Did we have an argument last night? Did I fall down? Did I fall down?
Too much rosé.
It's like in my forehead. It's like the size of a high heel. It's about that. It's about that size. Right. It's really weird. A dent. So, Arguello is El Flaco Explosivo.
Oh.
That's a fucking name.
Explosive fat guy?
Explosive.
What is Flaco? Flaco is fat, isn't it?
No, I think Flaco is like...
I think Flaco's fat.
Flaco is not fat, I don't think.
I think it is.
I don't know why he would call himself the Fat Explosive. I don't know.
Explosive fat guy?
Yeah, I don't think it is. I think it's like a... whatever. Anyway, 72-5 coming in, this guy. So he's a badass. Pryor makes $1.6 million for this fight.
Really?
This is his fucking fight. Alexis here, El Flaco Explosivo, makes $1.5 million. So Arguello is a 12-5 favorite.
Really?
So he is supposed to win. He's supposed to be the guy that can tame Aaron Pryor. It's like Pryor's been able to just overcome everybody, but this guy is a real boxer, and he's also a tough guy. You could hit it with a truck. He's not going to go down.
Got it.
There's no way Pryor's going to beat this guy.
Gordo, fat.
There you
Flaco,
go.
skinny.
Skinny. There you go. So, he's skinny and explosive. I should have known that.
Now it makes sense. So, that's you.
Yeah, there you go.
He's you.
He's me. So, So Arguello also is trying to become the first boxer to win titles in 4 weight divisions at the time.
Wow.
So, he's a really legendary guy and the favorite. So, this fight is a war. A war for 14 rounds. Yeah. This is back when there was 15-round title fights. So, I mean, you want to see 2 guys in the most insane condition. A normal person, you couldn't last one of these rounds just throwing the punches, never mind getting hit by the punches, too. So, the end of the fight, though, is when things, 14th round is when things go a little controversial. I guess Arguello lands a punch in the 13th round that seemed to get to Pryor a little bit here. And Arguello was behind on the scorecards, but it looked like he might take the 13th, and if he took the 14th and 15th, it could be,
who knows?
He could get the decision here. So, between the 13th and 14th rounds, this fight's on HBO. The microphones pick up his trainer, Panama Lewis, who you might know as very much disgraced, and soon after this will have to go to prison for shit that he did in boxing. He was the guy who, a guy ended up, hurting a person really, really badly because he plastered his raps and shit.
Ah, you son of a bitch.
He was a cheating son of a bitch for Panama Lewis, and we'll do an episode on him one day, put it that way. So, I think he killed a guy. I think one of the guys died from one of these fights. So Panama Lewis, you can hear him over the microphone telling the cut man, quote, give me the other, because the guy goes to hand him the water bottle, and he says, waves it off, and he says, give me the other bottle, the one I mixed. That's what he says. And then he squirts that. It's a black bottle. Shit. It's a different bottle. It's a black colored bottle. He squirts that into his mouth. It's known as the black bottle incident. It's a famous boxing controversy. Basically, he was fading Pryor, and he came out in the 14th round like it was round one, and he never had just fought for 13 rounds.
You just put Red Bull in him.
And and they said Arguello was landing these square punches and wasn't even phasing Pryor. He was going right through him and landing, but
really?
Like he gave him, gave Popeye spinach, basically, is what happened. So that was the big deal. Pryor unloads on him, a bunch of unanswered blows he ends up hitting Alexis with. Finally, the referee comes in and stops it. Arguello collapses to the canvas. He's down there for a while, just laying there. I mean, probably an exhaustion as much as anything else. The fight was insane. Afterwards, they said, "Hey, Panama Lewis, what was in that bottle?" Seemed to do the trick. He said, with a wink, he goes, it's water. I mixed a little peppermint schnapps in there. That's his trick, he says, which horseshit.
I gave an athlete booze?
Just a drop mixed in with the water for a little upper. That's going to, no, sorry.
No, dude, that's going to drop him down.
That's worse. Another one of the trainers who Panama Lewis replaced was told that the bottle contained a mixture of water, essence of peppermint, and spirits of ammonia. That's what was in it. And they said it helped, Panama Lewis said it helps expand the lungs and the throat, and you can breathe better. But everybody else said he crushed up amphetamines. And the people that knew him and worked with him said, he crushed up amphetamines and fucking made amphetamine.
Meth in him?
He made an amphetamine cocktail and said, down that, and then you go out there like a maniac and beat the shit out of the guy when he's tired at the end of the fight. So,
and that's why it's in a black bottle, because that shit's cloudy.
It's cloudy, and it's also, you want to know the difference. You don't want to give him the speed bottle in the second round. So, the Sims guy said, quote, "When you get real tired and it feels like your chest was burning, this mix would open up your nostrils and lungs, and the peppermint would make your lungs and nostrils feel cool." There weren't any drugs, but it was illegal.
Sure.
And it was probably drugs. So, anyway, so this is a TKO in round 14, 32-0, beat the odds. He's now the undisputed king of this division. And this is on the cover of every boxing magazine. This is a huge deal. And, Grace. Yeah. This is going to be Grace, I would say. This has got to be. He says, quote, "When a fighter isn't scared no more, something bad can happen. I could lose my title with one punch. What would I be thought of then? It took me so long to get this far. What would I have to do to get here again?" So, another guy, Larry Holmes, as we know about from the Trevor Berbick episode.
Outstanding.
He said, quote, Jesus, "Aaron beat Arguello's ass like he stole something." That was his thing, fucking analysis of the fight.
Stole his meth?
Yeah. Jesus Christ. He said, "No one could beat Aaron. He'd throw 200 punches per round and keep going." That's what I mean. 200 punches in 3 minutes.
Wow.
Think about how many punches that is.
Yeah.
That's not measuring a punch. That's just punch, as much as you possibly can. And none of these are tiny either.
No.
He's going for a knockout with basically every blow he throws.
Incredible.
It's awesome. April 2nd, 83 at the Sands Casino in AC. Pre-implosion.
Good Lord.
Look at this. At the Sands. A ghost of Sinatra before he was dead.
He loves the AC.
Yeah, it's an AC. Well, not really. I don't think Sinatra would be caught dead in AC. It's like, even Hoboken's better, and I'm from there. It's a dump. He fights Kim Sang-hyun this night, who is an Indianan gentleman.
Of course.
He's from South Korea. Yeah. He's 41-3-3 coming in. Ends his career 41-4-3. So this is it. TKO round 3. Okay. Aaron knocks him out. This is right after Panama Lewis has his license revoked.
Now,
after he removed the padding from the gloves of Louis Resto before he fought Billy Collins Jr. That was what he did. He took the pads out, so he was just hitting.
What
straight.
An asshole!
He's a piece of shit. This guy. Yeah, that's how boxing used to be. Yeah. He's doing the same tricks they did in the 30s.
Right.
And it's like in the 80s, you can't do that shit anymore. So, Pryor hires another guy to train him, a Richie Giacchietti. Wow, another Guinea, but they had a falling out too. He's like, "I need an Italian guy." Jesus. 2 weeks before the Arguello rematch, Pryor brings in Emmanuel Stewart, who's Lennox Lewis's trainer. You know, everybody's seen him. He's the black dude next to Lennox Lewis for 20 years.
Right.
So September 3rd, 1983, Pryor makes $2.25 million to fight Flaco Explosivo again.
Really?
Not bad. Arguello makes $1.75 million. So they want this fight again. It was a war. I mean, everybody wanted to see this fight. This was at the Caesars outdoor arena there in Vegas that they had WrestleMania 9 at, out there in the whatever the fuck, versus Alexis here. 10th round knockout this time for Aaron. He controls it, not as competitive. Pryor, at the end of round 2, he looked like he was going to fall, actually. He got hurt real bad, but then he ends up knocking Arguello down in the first round, and then again in the 4th round, and then finally puts him down in the 10th round. After the fight, both these guys were so spent that they both announced simultaneously that they were retiring from boxing.
Wow.
They both said,
Had enough.
Literally, one said he was done, and the other one said, I'm fucking done too. Yeah. That was enough. We've had enough.
Interesting.
It was like Rocky 3 when they wheeled Mr. T and Rocky both away, and they're like, that's what this is. Arguello says, quote, he was a great man and a personal friend. He was too strong for me to handle and beat me twice, but regardless of how tough our fights were, he was always the same in and out of the ring. He was a great fighter and a great person. He was a gentleman. So very nice things to say about him. Now, he's retired now, officially retired. He'll be back, but he's retired now. He says that he just didn't know what to do. He said he called himself a victim of his own success. He just was bored. He couldn't handle this whole thing. Within a few weeks of being retired, he just couldn't handle it and started smoking crack. Because what else do you do?
When you're that bored.
You're bored.
How bored do you got to be?
You're so bored you want a freebase. Because he was like, that's what he was doing then, and then it kind of turned into crack after a while there. He owned a house in Miami, and he would just have big drug binges down in Miami. This is at the point where he had a giant entourage. Yeah. He was one of the first guys that had a huge entourage.
Just blowing cash.
Tons of women, and he'd be supplying drugs for everybody, blowing $10,000 in a night on coke.
Idiot.
Shit like that. Idiot. He said he went down to Miami a few days after that last fight against Flaco Explosivo. He said that's when he first tried freebasing, and he loved it.
That's the first time.
Yeah, a few days. He's like, well, I'm retired now, so I could hit that up.
And do whatever I want.
And, he loved it. Boy, was he. How many of our guys try freebase in 1982, and they really like it?
They couldn't believe how great it is.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
Him, Thomas Henderson, there's like so many that were like, did you ever try freebasing cocaine? It's amazing.
I don't want to tell you how to do your life, but listen.
Pretty good.
This is the shit.
Just going to say here. He was super into it. He would pay. He said that his money would just disappear. People said he would get fucked up. He would hand out $100 bills to strangers.
What the fuck?
Strangers he met on the street. Just like, hey, what's up? What's up, champ? Nothing. Oh, man, you got $1? I'm trying to get, get something to eat. And he'd be like, pow, here you go. $100, walk away.
Go get a bunch of something.
Yeah, he was acting like this was never going to stop.
What a dummy.
He gave thousands of dollars to people in his entourage. He would, to drug dealers, forget about it. He would also send money home to his mother.
Yeah.
Even though he didn't like her, he'd send her money. He even would give huge amounts of money to his church in Cincinnati. So he's even donating huge amounts to church, which, I guess it's better than buying coke.
Yeah.
He bought pews.
But is there? Is it?
He bought pews and paid for children's choir robes.
That is better.
So that's nice, I guess. It keeps the kids doing something. It gives them something to get molested under. That's nice. They don't have to do it in their street clothes. Nobody wants that.
No.
That's bad. So his retirement doesn't last long, though. March 84, he announces he's going to fight again. He said, quote, I never really retired. I just rested. I vacated the title because the WBA I insisted I defend it every 6 months. So he said he didn't want to do that schedule. So he took control of it and did it. He proposed, there was a proposed multi-million-dollar fight with lightweight champ Ray Mancini, old Boom Boom, but that fell through when Mancini got knocked out by Livingstone Bramble. So, Bob Arum said about this, quote, Aaron Pryor actually cried. I saw his tears. So, again, he cried because he's watching millions of dollars
just
be lost by another guy.
Punched away.
That's so tough. You have no control over
None.
it. I hope that guy nothing happens to that guy, because we need to fight.
Yeah.
Right now he has a streak of 26 straight knockouts going.
No kidding.
Which is one of the longest streaks there is in history.
And undefeated.
And 26 straight knockouts. November 23rd, 1983, he's arrested early morning on a cocaine possession charge.
God damn it.
He's jailed for 8 hours, finally freed on $2,500 bond. The police said that a container with a small amount of white powder believed to be cocaine was found on the seat of his automobile when he was stopped for an equipment violation. Apparently he was looking for his license and just pulled coke out of the glove compartment along with his registration and shit like that. I got
How
this.
bored you gotta be.
Yeah. And they were like, oh, what's that on the seat?
Right.
Oh, step out of the car, sir. And next thing you know, This charge ends up getting dismissed in the end on the grounds that the arresting officers did not have a legal reason to search the car he was driving, even though they saw cocaine on the seat.
Right.
So he has a good lawyer is what that is.
Right.
And that's such a small charge that you can beat that with a good lawyer. He insists that he does not have a drug problem. Does not have a drug problem. Now I'm going to say that one more time.
Yeah.
So you, Jimmy, everyone he knows and the whole world, everyone listening right now knows Aaron Pryor in 1984 does not have a drug problem.
I got news for you. You reached in your glove box to find something for a cop.
Not a problem.
And you didn't know.
No.
You've got so much you forgot where some is.
You forgot that you just stuck some coke in there.
That's a problem.
Got a drug problem. Yeah. He's got the opposite. Most people's drug problem is when they can't afford drugs anymore. He's got the problem of he's just got too much drugs. He doesn't. If you have enough where you know what you have and you keep track of it and you can afford more, I feel like then you don't have a problem.
Right.
You have it under control.
Yeah.
Once you start forgetting wwhere you put shit or not being able to afford the next one, then you have a problem.
Somebody gave me weed in Florida. I knew exactly where that was when I got rid of it.
I bet. Yeah. No shit. So that's the thing. So anyway, now June of 84, he goes to court for custody of his four kids from all different women. So I don't know how he got these all into one, but somehow this is all one hearing for all of his custody of all of his kids at this point.
Streamlined it.
He divorces his wife. Here's coming up pretty soon. That ends up happening. He said the divorce was the beginning of a turnaround in his life. He says, ever since me and my wife got divorced, everything's been easy.
I know the feelings.
I was going to say, this guy, he said, quote, she wanted to go and sing and I wanted to have a family life. So yeah, she wanted that, but everything's been easy. Things are great since I got rid of her.
It really is.
I haven't been shot recently.
No?
That's pretty nice. I'd rather get punched in the face, but not shot. So, Jesus Christ. June 22nd, 84. This is a big comeback here. In Toronto, he fights Nick Furlano, who's a Canadian who's 28-7. At the press conference before this, this is one of these fighters who was there for the press conference said, quote, you know what I was just remembering? I was just remembering that he was talking to Aaron Pryor. That time you fought this guy from Canada who'd killed a man in the ring. Something, Jesus Christ. And you told some guy before the fight, didn't he tell you he better go to the guy told Aaron, didn't he tell you you'd better go to the doctor and get a checkup? And Pryor said, yeah. And the guy said, what'd you tell him back? And he said, quote, not to worry, I had to die anyway. So that's Pryor's fucking attitude.
He's not afraid.
No. He knocked Furlano down twice in the first round and ended up not being able to knock him out, though. And it goes all 15 rounds a huge unanimous decision. I mean, he beat the living shit out of this guy.
Yeah, but now he loses his streak.
Lost his streak. So, a unanimous decision. But he's 35-0. Right now, he sues to collect $300,000 that he claims a promoter, Richard Mangone, had refused to pay him for that fight. He said, quote, I didn't get paid the first fight with Nicky Furlano. I didn't get one dime. I quit boxing and gave up my title because they said I was, black bottle and preached to me about it. So they're telling him that you can't be in the spotlight because of the black bottle thing. And he's like, you gave me a shitload of money for the second fight with that dude. What are you talking about? March 1st, 1985, his divorce becomes official. And a Cincinnati court awards her more than $200,000. And Aaron Pryor's 1983 Cadillac.
Oh, those bastards.
She took his Cadillac.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, he had it all hooked up just the way he liked it. Imagine that shit. He's like, oh, not my Cadillac.
That
Fuck.
Bitch.
Oh, my God. So it doesn't matter, though, because everybody knows all he really cares about is coke at this point, not Cadillacs. So he's at the Sands and AC on March 2nd, 1985, again up in Atlantic City, facing Gary Hinton, who's 23-2-1 coming in. This foe's all 15 again.
Fuck.
Split decision this time, not even unanimous. Brings him to 36-0, though. He is a mess at this point, an absolute fucking mess. He's doing a lot of drugs, and it's affecting him physically, and you could just see his sharpness isn't there. In December 85, he is stripped of the IBF title for failure to defend, because he didn't defend it in 9 months. So they say, you're gone. So he's stripped of the title. 1985, Sarah Pryor, his mom, alleges that her son is using drugs since he's moved to Miami. She flew down there and tried to force him into a drug treatment program, which we'll talk about here. And he says he's not addicted to drugs. I don't have a cocaine problem, goddammit. I can afford it just fine.
There's plenty of it.
It's everywhere. It's in my glove compartment. I don't even know it's there.
Go look for my proof of insurance, Mom.
Just go, you know what? Go through my jacket pockets from last night. You're going to find some Coke. You can do it if you want.
There will be some.
And just take it, because I got more.
Guess what?
Check the glove compartment.
I got another jacket.
Yeah. Check my proof of insurance. It's in there, like you said. So he says he doesn't. His mother signed papers in an attempt to have him committed to a Miami drug rehab center, and he went, I'm an adult and I ain't going nowhere. Fuck you. She doesn't have power of attorney over him or anything, so it doesn't work out. On June 30th, Pryor tells Miami police he's been abducted.
Oh, boy.
This is amazing. The police, after investigating, don't believe his story. He says that two of his cars, a 1985 Ford van and a 1985 Saab Turbo, this is amazing. And he says, you'll know which ones they are because they all have bullet holes on them.
Oh, boy.
Both cars have a bunch of bullet holes on them, so you'll know which ones they are. It's the Saab with the bullet holes in it. There's not a lot of them. You know, Swedish cars with bullet holes. He said they were stolen. He also says someone made off with his M16 rifle.
Why does he have that?
That's a little much.
God,
what are you going to Nam?
Yeah.
What's going on here, dude? No. He said, quote, I don't have nobody to talk to. Nobody comes here. Nobody knows me. They all know me and I don't know them. It hurts so bad. Then I picked up a couple guys in Miami when I first got here and we talk. Hey, what's going on? All right. So Linda, who's his girlfriend at the time, and the baby, by the way, his baby's name is Nora, which he says is Aaron backwards, but he spells it wrong.
Oh, boy.
So now he has an Aaron Jr. and a fucking no.
Yeah.
No. I'm sorry. Eat shit on that. You can't do that.
No.
Yeah. So he says that his girlfriend and the baby was at her friend's house. So I go in the house with Linda, and when I come out, they had stolen my van. I catch a cab and come home. That's his story. He says that a friend then took him to a house where the van was, where he confronted the men who stole his van. And so, okay. He says, quote, they said I owed them some money, $400. I say, I don't even know you, man. What do I owe you $400 for? The guy who took me over, they let him go. So he called the police, because I guess they were holding that guy. He called the police, and the police break in and, in the place, and then these guys run away, and now my van is gone. So somehow he ends up getting arrested because Pryor and another guy are the only people at the house with a bunch of cocaine. So this is his story for why he's at a house with a bunch of cocaine, because he's only there to try to retrieve his stolen van. And then when I was getting my van back, you bust in and everyone who lives here left. And here I am with cocaine. So, you know, by the way, find my van for me.
I was abducted.
Yeah, I'd like to make out a report, officer. Yeah. They bust through the door. He's got a big pile of coke. It's all over his face. And then they're like, freeze. And he's like, I'd like to report a stolen van, officer.
I've been abducted.
Your Honor.
Yeah.
I'm a policeman, asshole. Listen, Your Honor, you fucking idiot. So, yeah, this is a shitty story, I would say here. They released him.
$10 as he called him, Your Majesty.
Yeah, oh God, that would have been amazing. Listen, I'm sorry, Your Majesty. So Jesus Christ, the police release him at 2 a.m. and somebody else is also arrested for possession of cocaine. There's a detective there, Doreen Nash, and she was there. She said, quote, my part was to see if there was any abduction or not. The only means I had was speaking to the witnesses that were in the house with Pryor. They all said basically the same thing, that he went there on his own to try to get his van back. While in the house, witnesses say he did use cocaine and he wasn't abducted. He just went there to do coke. I talked to Pryor, but I couldn't get him to give me anything. He wasn't very coherent. So yeah, this cop also says that Pryor's friend gave a false name and told the cops that the reason all this was happening was the fighter owed $1,000 to these people who then took his van in lieu of $1,000. So yeah, he has he's friends that he picks up, just anybody off the street. So, one time, there's a story about a woman who, he knew vaguely named Candy, who accompanies his mother to a grocery store. And when they got home, Candy helped her carry the bags into the house very politely, and then went back, dropped her off. Bye, Mrs. Pryor, whatever the fuck your name is.
Sarah.
Got in his car and then never brought it back. Just drove away, and he hasn't seen her or the car ever since. That's one of the stories. He says, quote, everybody robs me. I meet a girl and she robs me. I meet some guys and they rob me. People break into my house and steal things. They take my machine gun. I had an M16. I had planned one day to get on a boat and I don't have no license and I might go to Cuba. I don't know what that means or why. I wanted to shoot my way back home. I had plans like if it's a nightmare, like if it is nighttime, they come on your boat and shoot you. I believe I'm getting tired. I'm getting hyper talking and so it's hot. Oh man, I feel like just getting into a car and run away. That's his quote when asked about this.
That's the way he speaks.
He's on so much coke right there.
Crazy.
How many different fucking, they all steal my guns. You know, one time I was going to go to Cuba and come out, I'm going to shoot myself. You know how they come in at nighttime. I don't know, I'm rambling. Anyway, it's hot out. Isn't it hot? I'm just going to get in the car and drive away. What the fuck kind of coke talk is that? That is coke talk.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, somebody says to him at that point, why not go back into training? That might help. And he says, oh, I'm ready tonight.
Yeah.
I'm leaving tonight. I'm going back to Cincinnati. I'm going inside because they're outside in Florida. And he says, I'm going inside. Ain't you hot? I'm hot. The police come by and mess with me. I had a girl forge checks on me. This is my third checking account. People steal thousands of dollars out of my clothes. I don't know where my money goes. Ransom. They threaten my kids that will kill me if I don't give that. They'll kill me if I don't give them money. Somebody breaks into my house, seeing little things around like drugs around my house and in my clothes. I can't take no more. You know, I got a lot of people lost a lot of money on the Alexis fight. They're a little angry. That's the only thing I could think of. Gamblers that are mad at him for winning a fight.
Yeah.
Then he says, quote, drugs is a big thing in Florida. Yes, it is. And I figure just one thing. If you can go training and you can sacrifice sex and alcohol and go to bed early at night, you can sacrifice drugs if you want to. There was never any drugs involved in me as far as winning any fight. Why does my eye hurt? You have an electricity charge or something? See my eyes crossed? That's automatic. I'm tired. I've got to get some sleep.
I don't know what that meant.
That was all one statement that I read, all that shit. That was one big, he went from M16s to, I don't even know, man.
Does the 3 o'clock bus run at 2 here? What is that?
He is out of his fucking mind. Then he starts out of the room during this interview, stops and turns and says, quote, I can buy anything I want. Cars, a house, jewelry. I can buy anything but a friend. That's what he says. And then he walks away. Yeah.
Solid point.
That's it.
And then said you can pick your friends, you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your friend's nose.
That's what it is. My grandfather used to say that all the time. He did. That was his famous fucking, said it all the time. I'd be like, yeah, I know.
I get it. Can't pick anybody's face.
I get it. I'm aware. I thought that was hilarious.
That's what this dick just said.
Hey. So yeah, he doesn't go back and start training that night, like he says.
Anything but friend.
I can buy anything but a friend. Jesus Christ. So he's still in Miami using drugs and using a lot more drugs. He would start to run low on money. He traded in his cars. He'd sell his clothes, his furniture.
Oh my God.
For drugs. Friends from Cincinnati flew down and tried to take him back home, but he wouldn't leave. He wouldn't go. They hired detectives to keep an eye on him. And the report came back was that he wasn't going to make it. They were like, he's going to die out there.
That guy's fucked.
He's fucked. We're watching what he does. Now at this point, he addresses, because somebody brings up to him, didn't your mom try to have you put in rehab? And he says, quote, she only wants to have me put away so she can start handling my checkbook. I've taken drugs before. I've done it because I'm human and they're in the world, but I'm not on drugs now. And I've never used drugs to the point where they would hinder my ability as a fighter. Yeah. That's what he says. And Jesus Christ. Then he talks a little more about, problems. He said there's problems in Florida. He says it's in the air. Quote, yeah, my problems. They started when my mother came here. She came to take over. She was handling my checkbook. I feel I'm back where I started because of my mother. She's got a nice house, a Cadillac. She's never worked, and she never introduced me to my father. About 9 years ago, I put my mother in an institution. I was only 21. She shot her husband. I was driving a school bus, and I went home, and they say my mama shot my dad, my stepdad. I put her in a hospital because she lost her, she had lost her nerves, I think. And then he pauses and says, I think she don't like me because she done those things to me.
I don't know what any of that meant.
That's what I mean. Crazy. He's out of his fucking mind.
He's legit nuts.
Brain damage
it's over.
Plus freebase.
Yeah, it's over, and it's about to get worse.
He would make. They talked about the shooting with it. He wouldn't talk about that. He also said he wouldn't. He said that he can't talk about the shooting that his mom was involved in any more than that because he was ordered into silence by her brother-in-law, William Hardy, who is his uncle and known to the family as, quote, Uncle Chocolate.
Uncle Chocolate. Well,
we have Luigi Bizzarro and Uncle Chocolate's. I want to eat dinner at Luigi Bizzarro's and then go to Uncle Chocolate's for dessert, don't you? Doesn't that sound wonderful? He says, quote, I'm his uncle and I'm his trainer. And this boy is going to fight better than ever. You're going to get that straight from the horse's mouth, which he's got it from him, not the horse's mouth. I don't think he knows what that phrase means.
No.
I don't think
he's very confused. Was that Uncle Chocolate?
That was Uncle Chocolate,
oh,
yeah.
Boy.
Uncle Chocolate there. So, Jesus Christ, I was so...
He's his uncle and his trainer?
Sort of.
And Uncle Chocolate has sworn him to secrecy, or else?
He's Uncle Chocolate. He says what's allowed to be, disseminated to the public. He's the family spokesperson / boxing trainer / Uncle Chocolate. That's what he is. What else do you need? So they're talking about one day they go to interview him, and he's still got a house at this point. He's got a screened-in pool, all that. Nice house in Southwest Miami. He's still at this point now. He doesn't have the same muscle mass. He's wearing a Michael Jackson T-shirt.
Awesome.
He shows the baby to everybody, and he says that he can trust the baby. He says, I can trust her, and I can trust my dog, Clyde. I trust him, but nobody else. That's what he says.
He just picked the two things that don't speak English in this house.
Don't speak English. They can't talk back. Neither of them can really shoot him, which is helpful.
Yeah.
So that's nice. Maybe that's what it is. He doesn't have any fingers, and she wouldn't know what to do with him even if she got a gun. So, now he leans forward, they say, in a conspiratorial whisper. This is insane. He says, quote, I don't want to elaborate too much because I do hope to fight again, and I don't want to mess up my career. I'm not supposed to mention it, but I'm tired of talking about everything else. Cataracts. They told me not to come to Atlantic City or Vegas no more because I'm blind in one eye. I want to get my eye fixed and continue to fight. His eyesight's all fucked up now.
Because he's got cataracts.
And he needs surgery. In 1986, he's pulled over and arrested for driving under the influence of cocaine.
Yeah.
He's all fucking jacked up. So that's not great.
No.
In early 86. May 10th, 86, I'm sorry. He is freed on a $500 bond after he's arrested on disorderly conduct and reckless driving charges. Not great. When he was approached and arrested for the reckless driving, he then threatened harm to Officer William O'Brien, who stopped him.
Yeah.
So they got him on that, too. Not great. Not a great
pretty
look
dumb
for him. It's going downhill here. October 21st, 1986 in Cincinnati. So what has he done?
Yeah.
He's gone home.
Yeah.
He's given money to churches.
Right.
He has gone home. He's named his kid Junior. He's fucking everything he can possibly fuck up.
Certainly.
He's arrested in his hometown here after his mother claims that he hit and choked her in her home.
His mom?
He got arrested for beating up his mom.
God, Jesus.
Come on, man. Really?
That's terrible.
I get it that she might have been packing heat, but it's your mom.
It's your mother.
You can't hit and choke your mom. I'm sorry. I don't care what she did. You're not allowed to do that. No. That's beyond the pale. Yeah. There's no excuse for that.
Yeah.
Even like, she hit me. Yeah, she's your mom.
Yeah.
She's allowed to hit you.
She's supposed to. That's her job.
You go, what'd I do? You don't fucking hit her. You don't, choke her and everything. There's never an excuse for hitting your mom. No. Maybe if she shot you.
Yeah.
To get her to stop, that's the only thing I could think. Yeah, possibly. But other than that, I don't know. They arrest him for that. December of 86, he sees Alexis Arguello. They run into each other, and Alexis says, quote, I saw Aaron last December, and I was shocked at his appearance. He must have weighed 110 pounds.
No.
I went up to him and said, help yourself, Aaron. Help yourself out. That's so bad. He didn't even say hello. He said, oh, my God, help yourself. But I don't even know if he heard me or understood what I was saying. Not even a person, just a shell of a person.
That's crazy.
They asked him about what happened, what's going on with you, and he gives a quote to the paper, and he blames Miami.
Yeah.
He says, quote, Miami has made me mean. They said he mumbled it.
Yeah.
This town has hurt me and made me mad at myself, mad at everyone else. Things have changed. I don't know why it is. That's not me. I just want a friend, one I can trust. I don't feel like Aaron Pryor. I don't want to feel mean. That's his quote. He's at it. He's a Dave Chappelle show character at this point. What is he doing? He's just saying nonsensical shit.
Wait till you hear Will Smith's song about the place. You're really going to be pissed.
They put pickles on my hamburger. What?
They're making me mean.
It's just Sorry. That's what he would do.
Yeah.
You'd be saying something that made sense, and then he would go, I don't know why I don't like churros. Okay, Tracy Jordan. That's what he is. He's total like fucking 30 Rock Tracy Morgan character here. So February 26, 1987, Metro-Dade County Police Detective Virginia Martin says, that's bad when you start out with that.
It's no good.
There's an incident that starts on a Tuesday night, okay? This is the police's thing. A female house guest said she saw Pryor smoking crack cocaine out of a soda can in the bathroom.
Oh, boy.
Okay? Which is...
That's no good.
He doesn't even have a crack pipe now. He's smoking it out of a soda can. Which you smoke weed out of a soda can when you're 16 and you have no way of getting a bowl. And you're like, I don't know, just poke the...
But crack cocaine?
You don't smoke crack out of a soda can when you're a champion of the world. I'm sorry. Get a crack pipe like a champ. Jesus. The police said, quote, he became enraged when she discovered this and told her not to say anything. Apparently, she did not agree to this, and they continued to argue until he then hit her, tied her wrists and ankles with electrical cord, and sexually assaulted her.
What?
That's how this goes. That's what the police are saying. Quote, this is what the detective says, quote, during this time, he beat her about the body with a handgun and a stick.
Oh, Jesus.
While he sexually assaulted her, tied her up with a cord.
This is so bad.
This is terrible.
This has gone really awry.
Yeah, it gets worse. Wednesday, this was on a Tuesday. Wednesday, 2 other house guests arrived, and they heard the woman struggling. He had her apparently tied up in a bedroom for 24 hours.
What the fuck?
After sexually assaulting her and everything else. Now, they say they heard the woman struggling and tied up in the bedroom, and when they went to try to help her, Pryor pulled a gun on them.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying now. The detective said, quote, he threatened to kill the witnesses and the victim. That's not good.
No.
During a scuffle to disarm him, the gun went off and Pryor was shot in the left hand.
This is time number 2 he has been
shot again.
Yeah.
So apparently everybody then took her to the hospital where she was treated and released. And Pryor is arrested the next morning at the hospital where he has gone to, have his hand gunshot wound treated. He's charged with sexual battery, kidnapping, false imprisonment, aggravated battery, and 6 counts of aggravated assault.
They all fit.
Whoa, that's a hefty slate of charges right there. He's held in the medical ward because he's got a gunshot wound. So the judge orders him finally released on only a $50,000 bond. The judge says out loud, this is the 80s, man, out loud, quote, credibility of the witness in this case leaves a lot to be desired, and I don't think proof is evident or presumption is great that the defendant committed these crimes. So low bail.
What?
So he basically said, I don't believe that broad. I'm letting him out on a low bail, which is an interesting way of he could have just he didn't have to put it like that. That was just an interesting thing to say out loud there. So, he, on the other hand, he says he was robbed by the woman and the 5 visitors, and he's pissed.
Yeah,
he's the victim here.
That's common for him. He's
Yeah,
always robbed.
Everyone's robbing me. They're stealing my machine guns.
Right.
It's crazy. So in the meantime, Buddy La Rosa there sent him about, I don't know what that would be, maybe 20,000 pies about to get you out of jail for that.
Yeah.
A lot of pizza. Sends him money to make bail. Pryor gets out and he goes right back to doing coke.
Yeah.
Right back in there. He says later on, quote, you think I cared whether I died? A crack addict doesn't care if somebody kills him. A crack addict wants to die. Yeah. He's got a death wish now. So now Deborah Harry, not Heart of Glass, Debbie Harry, but Deborah Harry, which just shares the name, who's a woman who lives with Pryor at the time of his arrest, says in a deposition in court that Pryor used cocaine, quote, constantly. She says in the deposition, quote, when he wasn't sleeping, he was using it. She said the drug would, quote, make him stick things in his ears, up his nose, change into women's clothes, make him drink bottles of rubbing alcohol, hydrogen peroxide, he'd smoke cat litter, grits, he'd eat raw meat.
That is not a good advertisement. I mean, wait, hold on.
He smoked cat litter, Jimmy.
Yeah.
And grits.
Yeah.
I'm going to smoke a cat litter grit joint. It's going to be good.
The last thing was what? He eats raw meat?
And eats raw meat. Which is by far the most normal thing in there.
Yeah.
People do that.
Yeah.
But the rest of that...
Smokes cat litter. This is crazy.
I guess he could wear women's clothes if he wants, but smoking cat litter and grits is a little weird.
Not a good advertisement for this drug.
Wow. I would say her husband, David Harry, was working as Pryor's bodyguard. Often they said he had to go to crack cocaine houses to retrieve Pryor. He'd have to go pick him up at crack houses, as he called it, a crack cocaine house, which is very upper class.
A little nicer.
Yeah. So Debbie Harry here said she also said that Pryor pointed a gun at the woman he accused of attacking, a woman he's accused of attacking, as well as the others in the house. The gun went off and his left hand was wounded. She said at first, when they tried to take him to the hospital, he refused hospitalization and said, "I only want crack." That's what he said. "Don't take me to the hospital. I don't need medical attention. I just want crack, and I'm good."
That is incredible.
That's amazing.
That's how good crack is.
That's how good crack is. You have a hole in your hand made by a weapon.
Morphine.
And you're like, "I'm just going to go smoke crack. I think I'll feel
that."
Crack? Where can I get some crack? Wow. He says as he's being brought into the Miami-Dade jail, he says that someone shouted, quote, "Hey, champ," and through the door and said, "Can I have your autograph?" One of the prisoners recognized him. And he said, the way they put it, the request cut through the heavy crack cocaine haze, which clouded his brain at the time. He never said anything back to him because he just didn't even know what was going on. I guess as he made his way down the hall is when he realized that he didn't belong in jail and he wasn't even the champ.
Yeah.
He's just a fucking crackhead who was in jail at that point.
Right.
He said, quote, "It scared me. I felt like somebody that didn't belong there, besides the crack and the kidnapping and the shootings and that sort of thing.
And the sexual assault.
And the raping and the beatings, and the beating about the body with a stick and a gun. Now, his side of the story is completely different.
Yeah.
Lee Robinson, who's his friend, said he saw the alleged victim driving Pryor's van the night this was supposed to happen. So he said, "I saw her out. She wasn't even there. She wasn't held captive. She was driving his van." He said he asked her, quote, "Where's Aaron?" And she said, "Aaron's dead." That's what she told him. That's what this guy's saying.
Okay.
He said that he and another man went to Pryor's house where several other people were there. Lots of people lived there. And at first they were told they couldn't enter. Then he said, quote, "Then I heard Aaron say, 'Lee, help me.' So he said he went and found Pryor, and he was, quote, in great pain with his arm bandaged. He said he was told that Pryor told him that this woman, who's supposedly the victim, actually shot him, and he's the victim. He said that Pryor told him that people in the house had held him hostage and made him sign money orders for them. He said that when he tried to, this guy said that when he tried to get Pryor out of the house, the woman showed him a gun stuck in her waistband and said, "Pryor's not going anywhere." Now, Robinson, his friend here, said that he eventually took Pryor to the hospital where he was treated for a gunshot wound to his arm. And so he helped him out. That's his story. He said that, he was a nice guy, let these people into his house, and all he wants to do is get home and see his children, for Christ's sake. Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, God.
What the fuck here?
There's 4 of them.
This is ridiculous. So, the affidavits, his lawyer says, quote, "I've never read 2 affidavits the assistant state attorney says that, his affidavit, Pryor's and his friends are a little too close. He said, quote, "I've never read 2 affidavits from 2 people that are not only the exact same words, but even have the same commas. It makes me a little suspicious." So, yeah. This is fucking crazy. He says after this incident, right now, he knew this was it. He needed to turn his life around, and that's when he did what, Jimmy?
Go to church.
Turn to God.
Hell yeah.
That's when he found the Lord.
Yahtzee.
Found the Lord back in my life. Woo! He said, quote, "During my darkest moment, I finally saw the light.
Yeah.
I saw it. I asked God for help, and he's given it to me.
Yeah.
All the good things that have happened to me since are nothing but God's work. Damn it. He's got me in this gym. He's keeping me here. I went through some horrible times, but I survived. I've still got my hands with a hole in it, but still,
right.
I got my ears, my eyes, and my legs, and I've still got a chance to use my talent. I'm very fortunate."
Yeah.
So
How old is he?
He is, quote,
good now.
Good fucking now. As good as it gets. What is this, 87, 32?
Yeah.
He's getting toward.
Can still fight.
Yeah, for boxing, for that lightweight, too. You're on the back end, but
downswing.
it could happen. Other guys did it here. He says, he may win another fight, which regardless of anything that happens, there's no chance he's ever going to self-destruct again.
Okay.
Good now.
Okay.
He said, all my life I've wanted to be a champion. When I finally got to the top, I didn't know how to handle it. The wrong people met me, and I went along with them. I started doing drugs, and they turned my life upside down. I didn't do it. They did it.
Right.
I should have known better. Now I do.
God, he is good at blaming everybody else.
He's good, man. He sticks it right in there. Yeah. If I didn't learn my lesson by now, I never will. Mm-hmm. I experienced drugs and what they can do. You will never catch me into drugs again. I want kids to know how bad they are. Whenever I'm around kids, I tell them, say no to drugs. They'll ruin your life. And he says, ridiculous. This is people not believing in me. This is goddamn crazy. Friend of his there said, quote, I don't care what people think. I know Aaron's going to make it. He still lives in Miami, and in Miami there are bad people and drugs everywhere. That he can ignore them and turn his life around here shows me how much strength he has now. He says, then Aaron says, quote, no one is going to take advantage of Aaron Pryor again. He's strong again. He doesn't have to follow anyone around anymore. Jimmy, he's good now.
So good.
And then happily ever after the end. No.
Yeah.
He makes a comeback. He said that La Rosa, the Pizza King, said that Aaron, quote, he called me he called me to come get him because he wanted to make a comeback. He looked so bad when I found him. He looked like he was living in a concentration camp.
Oh, Jesus.
Because he was so skinny. He's been out of the ring for 29 months. He insists he's free of drugs and all ready to go. He's set for a fight on August 8th, 1987. So years off. And he says, quote, no matter what I say or do, everyone's going to be looking at me to mess up and do the wrong thing again. But I can't blame them because of what I've done in the past. I've messed up.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? He said, I'm sure most people out there think I'm drinking in a bar somewhere or doing drugs. Nobody thinks I'm in the gym again, training. No one. I feel tremendous. In my other attempts to come back, I wasn't really sure that's what I wanted. I was lost. But now I know this is what I really want. I realize my whole life depends on this. When you get lost out on the street like I was, sometimes you can't come back no matter how hard you try. But I woke up. There are no more drugs. I've kicked the habit and I'm never going to do them again. I just hope it's not too late for me to take the great talent God has given me and make something good out of my life. God damn it. Yeah. His trainer said he's done beautifully so far. He's improved every day. They said, quote, he's gotten a little trouble before, but that's over now. I would say gunpoint rape arrest is a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
And that's over now. He's away from the dope and the bad people. He's straightened out his life. I'm convinced of that. And if I didn't think he was sincere about staying away from trouble in boxing again, I wouldn't be working with him.
Yeah.
I'd tell him to fuck off. He was a great champion before, and he'll be a great champion again because he wants to be a great champion. All right, then. His girlfriend, he's got a new girlfriend now, Lori Johnson. She's trying to make people understand what he's like. She said, quote, people who don't know him are afraid of him because of the things they've read or heard, but things have been exaggerated. Aaron's a wonderful person. He's a kind-hearted, loving man. His biggest problem is that he's too nice, and the wrong people take advantage of him. It seemed like all he met in Miami were bad people. He was just in a negative environment. He's just misunderstood. He's like, he's a bad dog only because he was in a bad place. They didn't pet him they left him outside too often.
You chain him to a tree all day.
That's what happens. It's not his fault.
He's going to do coke and rape.
He's going to rape everybody if you put him out there. That's what happens. Quote, Aaron did drugs because the people around him were doing drugs and they wanted him to join them.
Oh boy.
And he's just so lonely and he wants friends. He just thought that's what he had to do. Yeah. That's how it is. So he did. He couldn't say no. Those people confused Aaron. He didn't know who his friends were. He should know that crack is shitty. That's what he should know. No one can confuse you into thinking crack's a good idea. Jesus Christ. All he needed was someone positive, someone who loved him and cared. I'm that person.
Yeah.
I'm behind him 100%. I will enable him to do anything that he wants to do, including crack. They met in Cincinnati and started dating. She has a 5-year-old son. They're all living together. Johnson said this is the woman that they're a close family and they enjoy a simple, quiet home life and a lot of crack.
Yeah.
She said, quote, we go to a show once in a while, but we spend most of our time at home. We play cards, watch television, and talk. They're like an 80-year-old couple. They watch Murder, She Wrote, and they go to bed at 9:30. Aaron is a religious man who goes to church every Sunday. We talk a lot about life, about where he's been, and about where we're going. Wow. One night I asked him why he ever took drugs and what did he get out of them, and he couldn't answer. He really didn't know why he did them. He got nothing out of them. He did them because people around him wanted him to. He needed the friendship and stability in his life, and that just wasn't there. So he's good now.
Yeah, for sure.
It's all everybody else, but now he's with me. He doesn't need crack.
God, she's amazing.
I've solved his crack problem. Yeah. My vagina's better than crack.
She's incredible.
Isn't that great?
What a lady.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm so happy. So August 8th, 87, Sunrise Musical Theater in Fort Lauderdale. Mm-hmm. He fights Bobby Joe Young, who sounds like they pulled him out of the Everglades. Out of one of those fucking
serial killer.
Yeah, either that or a serial killer they pulled out of a fan boat in the Everglades. That's perfect. Perfect, actually. He's a good fighter though. 31-7-1 for his career. This was not great. Pryor is a shell of Pryor. He's not who he was. He takes a blow and drops to the canvas in the 7th round. He gets up on his feet, but when they do the standing 8 count, he turns his back to the referee, which you have to. The referee has to look in your eyes and make sure you're holding your mouthpiece in your mouth and all that shit. They said the referee was like he didn't know what was going on. He was kind of baffled, but he kept counting because I guess that's what I'm doing. Pryor then got down on the ground and did the sign of got down on one knee and did the sign of the cross. And that was it. Well, they counted to 10. He just took a knee and lost the fight.
Why would you do that?
He said, that's it. I'm just taking a knee. Done. I don't know. Did the sign of the cross. Thank you. Whatever
Jesus
the fuck.
means a lot to him.
Jesus means a TKO loss in round 7. 36-1 for Aaron. He fights again in December of 88. So that's over a year later is his next fight. It's up in Rochester. He fights Herminio Morales. Herminio is his name. Wow. 10-5-1 coming in. Knockout in the 3rd round. 37-1. What does he do now? Moves back to Cincinnati. Full time. He says, at this point, he leaves Miami and he's divorced. He leaves his girlfriend there, who's his best friend, leaves her behind, goes back and, immediately starts smoking crack again.
God damn it.
He says, quote, I went back to start my life over to forget about Miami and my ex-wife. I didn't know I picked up a habit. You didn't know? You've been smoking crack for 5 years.
Out of your fucking mind.
Constantly. I thought I could quit.
I had no idea.
He said, quote, I didn't know I'd picked up a habit. I thought I could quit. Wow. But when I got back, the same drugs that were in Miami were also in Cincinnati.
Weird.
I thought I was leaving it.
Oh, boy.
No more drugs here. Bye, crack.
Oh, boy.
No crack in Cincinnati. Cincinnati was known as the only crack-free haven of the you heard that in the 80s. Everywhere in the world had crack but Cincinnati.
There, right.
It's pretty amazing, actually. I don't know how they did it.
They said if you develop a coke habit somewhere, just leave, go right back to Cincinnati.
It's the smell of the sulfur. It makes you not want it.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
It's like taking that pill that makes you not drink.
It's like smelling salts when you get knocked out.
Yep.
The sulfur it's a detox.
That is the best way to put it, Jimmy. Thank you. Thank you.
Pulls the coke right out of you.
Yeah, like right from your pores. Yeah. God damn it, Jimmy. That's smart. September 1989, he is arrested.
Yeah.
Why? Cocaine in his car and a crack pipe for good measure. So what the fuck? Why not? April 1990, he is ordered to undergo 2 years of treatment for drug abuse. He enters a no contest plea for a charge of possessing illegal drug paraphernalia, which was a crack pipe, which was found in his car. In recovery programs, he doesn't do well, though. That's the thing. No, he doesn't. No matter what they do and what they say, and no matter how much he says everything's going to be fine, he says that there was only one place Aaron Pryor wanted to go, quote, wherever the crack was.
Yeah.
So, yeah. He said, quote, I would pray to God. I would say, take this taste from my mouth. Please, please take it away. But it never went away. Never, never, never. That's his quote. Jimmy, what does that say?
Never, never, never.
I would say, Lord, take this taste from my mouth. That's amazing.
Screaming at the clouds.
We've never heard anyone beg the Lord to take the taste of crack from their mouth before on our show. That's a new one. Hey, congratulations.
Fucking real.
So, before this next fight he has, because he's going to fight again, he has surgery to remove a Cadillac. To remove a Cadillac from his ass.
But all he had to do was get a divorce to remove that.
That's right. Done. Boom. Gets a cataract and repair a detached retina, which was Sugar Ray's problem.
Right.
After the surgery, he's denied a license to fight by California, New York, and Nevada, all the biggies there. The state Nevada medical report declared him legally blind in his left eye.
What the fuck?
His vision in his left eye was 2400.
Oh, no.
With corrective lenses, it improved to 2070, but still not wonderful. Yeah. The state of Wisconsin, though, they said, after you get drunk enough, you can get right in the ring and fight there. They gave him a license. They didn't care.
Climb in, fucker.
Hey, you stuff him full of curds there, you have a couple of beers, and he gets right in the ring there, and it's going to be fine. I mean, he's going to punch him, I'll tell you that. He's not going to see it coming from the left side, but, hey, what are you going to do? So he's we'll
stuff him full of cheese cards. See which one kills him first.
That's all, And by the way, we'll be in Milwaukee on December 5th or 6th or some shit. So come see us there. Yeah, damn near. Yeah. Small town murder. There's like 20 tickets left, so go there. So he does have to sign a waiver releasing the state from any liability from any blindness or death.
Fight.
But they're going to let him fight though. They said, "What do you think about that?" He says, "Quote: I think Wisconsin is a wonderful place for humanity." For a person to have justice, even if you are disabled.
Yeah.
The way he did it was, he says, quote, this is what he says, and this was his legal argument, quote, I don't have a medical problem, I have a disability problem.
Right.
If you don't let me fight, you're actually discriminating against my disability rather than saying you're not medically cleared to fight. So he played it a different way, and Wisconsin went, yeah, all right, I've had a few, I'm a little buzzed. Why not?
I'm blind drunk. I feel
good enough. I think I'm going to do that. So yeah, he says that. I don't know. That's obviously a horseshit way to.
It's terrifying that you can do that and get yourself put into a ring with somebody that has vision in both eyes.
Well, yeah. Shit. Evander Holyfield hasn't said a word of English that anyone's been able to understand in 12 years, and they let that guy fight still, or they have the last couple of years. I don't get it at all.
Anything for entertainment.
I guess so. So he says, quote, I can see fairly well, which isn't
that's not good enough to fight.
My vision is kind of like what you would have if you wore glasses and took them off. Not good enough to see a person beating you.
Oh my God, if I take my glasses off, I do not want to fight.
Jimmy, take your glasses off and let's fight.
God,
what do you say? Fucking no.
God, no.
So, May 16th, 1990, in Madison, Wisconsin, he fights Darrell P-Man Jones. Mm-hmm. P-E-E Man.
That's terrible.
P-Man.
The actual P.
P.
Actual urine.
P-P.
Yeah, the spell of P.
13-13.
Oh, boy.
Mediocre P-P Man.
Yeah.
15-23 career. Knockout in the third round for Alex, or for Aaron. So 38-1. 1990, though, he has an arrest when he he's on probation, admits to court officials that he is drug dependent when he fails tests, and a judge orders him to undergo even more drug treatment and rehabilitation.
That's the way that goes.
That's the way it goes. December 4th, 1990, he fights his last fight in Norman, Oklahoma, Roger Choate, who's a 6-3 fighter, 6-5 career. TKOs him in round 7, finishes his career at 39-1. So
that's great.
Can't say anything about him in the ring. Sugar Ray says about him, quote, we sparred on several occasions and we never thought we'd fight, and we never thought we'd fight each other because of the difference in weight class. And when we did spar, once in a while I'd get him and once in a while he'd get me. But I don't know why we never fought. It would have been an honor to fight Aaron Pryor. Yeah. So as a boxer, he gets a lot of respect, especially from people in the business. Now, March 14th, 1991, he is talking about at this point, he is a homeless crack addict living on the streets of Cincinnati.
Oh, no.
Back to sleeping in doorways.
Yeah.
He's so depressed and filled with self-loathing that he constantly considers how to kill himself.
God damn it.
He's held a gun to his head. He raised a knife over his belly, praying to the Lord for the courage to thrust it in. Lord, make me not want to taste cocaine and then stab myself, please. Jesus Christ.
Remember when you begged to take the taste of cocaine away from you and he wouldn't do that? What makes you think he's going to fucking help you kill yourself?
Unbelievable.
He won't take coke from you.
No, that's Jesus Christ. He said he would go for days without food or sleep.
Yeah.
He said basically people would say if you took a bus trip around a tour of Cincinnati, you'd see him standing there on corners panhandling. So now he's panhandling. He said, and if you visited certain crack houses, you might have spotted him lying on the floor with his face down in the dirt. His skin was a deathly color, and it wasn't out of the ordinary to find him staring at the sky, carrying on his own private conversation with God. He's now turned into the guy that walks around the streets yelling at the sky.
Yep.
You know that crazy guy that you walk around the side? That's him now.
Yeah.
He weighed 100 pounds, which is not good.
No.
He was 135 when he fought. When he's like normal and just off and retired, he's like 155, and 100 is not okay. And that's only an estimate because he really didn't ever even figure out what he weighed.
Not a lot of scales.
Didn't care. No. Also, he was eventually arrested here by undercover police and charged with trafficking cocaine.
Oh, which is a homeless guy?
This is so stupid. This is a bullshit, trumped up charge to get him to plead to some tiny bullshit. He's arrested at 12:15 a.m. He's in an apartment building hallway. Police are sent to the scene following citizens' complaints that it's a fucking crack house.
Right.
Please go to that crack house. They found him, chased him. He fell down in the basement while he was trying to escape. He fell down, and when he fell down, 5 packages of crack fell out of his hand onto the ground. So couldn't say those weren't his. They were right next to him. They said that the packages were, quote, packaged similar to that used for sale purposes on the street. You know, if you just bought 5 things of crack, they'd be packaged the same way, not if you were going to sell them. That's like saying you went and bought a 12-pack of soda, and I go, well, you're obviously going to sell that 12-pack of soda. It's packaged to sell, Jimmy. It's in a box.
And there's 5 of them. That's hardly trafficking.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it would be if he was standing on a corner going, yo, I got 2 for $20s over here, blue tops and shit, but he's not doing that. This isn't Amsterdam. Watch The Wire. Anyway.
All right.
WMD is the bomb. So anyway, when they came for him, he's there. This was another time he was lying in the hall of a crack house when he's got arrested.
God damn it.
There. At this point, he said that he had stomach issues, though. He said his ulcer had erupted.
Oh, Christ.
He said, I was hurting so bad I hadn't been to sleep for 10 days. When I went in for surgery, I knew it was a good time to die. I prayed that God didn't let me come out of this the same way I was living. Kill me or change me. He goes to rehab. When he goes to rehab, he meets a lady.
Of course he does.
Finds a lady, a woman named Frankie. That he, like my dog.
Oh, yeah.
He meets in rehab, and he meets her. He met her in 91, shortly before he went to prison for a while there. It's his 3rd experiment here with some recovery in the hospital, and doesn't work at all. But they do have, he does find this woman here. Frankie's a white lady from the suburbs, basically, that he hooks up with. And, he said, told her, quote, my name is Aaron Pryor. Maybe you heard of me. And she said, I don't know who you are.
No idea.
He said, I used to be a boxer. And she laughed at him and said, yeah, right.
Yeah, sure, little guy.
Because he's tiny, and she said she knew like Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson. Those are boxers. I don't know who you are. You're this little tiny 100-pound crackhead.
You got no muscle on you.
She was, little too. And so June 27th, 1991, he shows up to court a day late. To his sentencing.
$1 short?
To his sentencing. Yeah. You show up respectful and on time.
Oh, yeah.
You showed up a day late, I don't know. We'll get
this was yesterday, sir.
The judge tells him that he had missed mandatory appearances in both courts, and he says it was because he overslept. Sorry, I slept in.
I used to be a crackhead, remember?
Yeah, you know how it goes. I get very tired. I nod off. He said when he woke up, he reported to his lawyer, who arranged for him to appear in court then, and the judge said, you, sir, may fuck off. 6 months in jail.
Okay.
So for that, so this is when he pleads guilty to a charge of drug abuse, which was a thing then. So he's shipped off to a state fucking prison here. He serves 3 months and 12 days. He writes back and forth to Frankie, back and forth here. He had his first job in a while. He worked in the prison gym, made 25 cents a day.
Jesus.
So that'll get you some crack. He wrote letters to his beloved here in jail. And, everything was, he was lonely, and he was telling her that he was through with crack. But he said in a letter, he told her that he was through with crack. And then later on in the letter, he said, but there is a voice in my head saying, well, maybe one more time, champ. Literally, quote, well, maybe one more time, champ. Just one more try.
One more round.
One more fucking around. She said, though, he could be sensitive, a regular romantic, and that sort of shit. You know,
I'm sure.
In prison there, you know how it goes. So after this, he's still got the ulcer problems. With this, the doctors told him if he continued to do drugs, he would die. Right. That's not
Doc Holliday. Slow it down.
You chill out there, Chief. Yeah, nice TB reference there. Aaron says about this, I did thousands and thousands of dollars of cocaine, but it didn't take no money for Aaron Pryor to get high. Everybody wanted me to come to their crack house. They still do today. I'm a distinguished guest of a crack house. They call me for openings. Whenever there's an opening, there's a big opening of a crack house in the South Side today. You're going to be there.
Check out my appearances at crack houses.
Puts his top hat on and swings his cane and heads on down there. Open it up like it's the fucking plaza or something. Like he's Vanderbilt opening the plaza.
Groundbreakings.
Jesus Christ. He said, but there's another person in me that I wanted to know that I lost touch with. I loved cocaine, but I love me more.
Okay.
He loves cocaine.
I wish you loved boxing more.
That'd be great. For Thanksgiving, his friend Hawk picked him up again here. Yeah. They're back again. Same thing, just him. This is all it is. They said that he went in there for Thanksgiving. The Hawk guy, they had a big Thanksgiving dinner, and they laid around talking about what they were going to do for the future. They planned a bunch of stuff. I guess Hawk bought him some clothes once he got out of jail, gave him a car to borrow. Mm-hmm. You can do this to get around. Said, it's all good. Go out into the world. And he went right back out there and smoked a lot of crack again.
Yeah, he did.
Right out there in his new clothes and got real high because he loves cocaine.
Yeah.
At his lowest point, it said in this article, this is a great quote, at his lowest point, Pryor stood on the street corners and shadow boxed for tips.
Wow.
From people who pointed at him, laughed belly laughs, and said, hey, man, you ain't the champ no more.
You used to be the champ.
Not good. He's the crackhead going, I was the champ. And he's yelling at God, and people are like, yeah, okay, dude, whatever. It's fucking sad,
People
man.
People are throwing dimes at him to shadow box.
Yeah, other times, he would fucking, literally, guys who thought they were tough would be like, I'm going to beat this bum up. And they would give him money to fucking fight them because he's the champ. And they wanted to see how they stacked up against the champ there. And at one point, he was paid as much as $100 for this, but he actually did it once for 50 cents.
What the fuck?
He fought a man for 50 cents.
Oh my God.
Quote, when I was desperate for a hit.
Oh my God.
50 fucking cents. Jesus Christ. In 1992, his son Steven makes his pro boxing debut.
Get out here.
Good. This is going to be great. TKO loss.
Oh no.
He calls himself the Millennium Hawk. Doesn't have another fight until 2000. He actually finishes his boxing career 10-3-1. He wins 10 fights straight and then loses one as a draw. Yeah, he has a decent career in there. But he doesn't fight again for 10 years or 8 years. 1992, they're just kind of going, Jesus Christ, there's like an average day in Aaron Pryor's life. Yeah. They said he's hanging out in bars. They go through to this one bar and they're talking to people. They say he bums a few bucks off the regulars for things. He bums money off the owner. The one owner said, quote, I'm feeding him. They said, there's another guy sitting next to him who said, ask Pryor how much he owes the country preacher. I love him, but he's done kicked his own ass. That's what somebody said. Another guy walks over from the other side of the bar and ask him how much he owes himself.
That's a hell of a question.
That's the question right there. Yeah. They'd say that La Rosa wanted to set him up in the restaurant business, wanted to get him a job as a manager.
Give
and
him some pizza?
Then maybe give him a franchise that he could run, get him on his feet. But he said Pryor could never hold a job. He said he'd show up for the first day or two and then he'd just call it quits, never call again.
What the fuck?
He said you could, quote, you could depend on his undependability, if nothing else. He once lost a $25,000 check. He was notorious for skipping workouts, blowing off interviews, being late for public appearances and planes. He left rented cars at the curb. He was so easily sidetracked. You could send that kid to a store and he wouldn't come back for 2 days.
Motherfucker.
So that's what he was. He would be doing, he was smoking fucking crack.
Unless there was a crack house opening.
That's the thing.
If there was a big opening, you could find him there.
Yeah, that's that. Oh, he would be there with his
only one.
Suit on and his top hat, like we said, spinning his cane. Hey, a new crack house is open. Very distinguished. The guy, this La Rosa says, I encourage him to get a job, but he's not suited for a normal job.
No.
He said, you and I can go next door. We're anonymous. We can put down on the application what we've done before and be considered for a lot of jobs. What's Aaron going to write down? Former junior welterweight champ? Yeah. I'm not saying that he shouldn't be doing something. He should. He just needs to put something back back into his life that can give him the fulfillment and pride that he feels he lost.
Is there a crack tester? Does that job exist?
Oh, there is. Well, yeah, they have their testers.
Yeah.
When they put out shit on the street, they have their regular crackheads that their testers they give that shit out to. Fuck yeah, to see if it's good.
That's what they should give to him.
If the crackheads are like, that shit's fucking fire,
that's
then they know.
Job.
Yeah, that's how they do
qualified.
that shit. Who knows it better than a crackhead?
Mm-hmm.
So he said, I'd like to see him working with kids.
Oh no,
he's great for them.
God, no.
Plus, they might have crack he can borrow. People on the street chide him. Get a job, they say. One man suggested he apply at McDonald's. Wow. He said, though, he'd rather contemplate suicide, which is what I've really been doing for a long while, than flip hamburgers. That's what he said. So, yeah. La Rosa hired a private detective to fly down to Florida and rescue him. He said, quote, what I found was an animal, not a person. I had about as much chance of persuading him to leave as getting a polar bear out of Alaska. Mm-hmm. He said he was hanging out in Liberty City crack houses all over in Liberty City and Miami during the whole, all of his hiatuses. He said his matchups all went up in smoke. Everything was all because of crack, basically. Yeah. It was a fucking mess. He said he got some bad managers after that, a couple of Cuban managers in Miami who were running another business and using Aaron's money to use their payroll, stealing from him. Pryor says he's too poor to do drugs right now. He says, but in the same breath, he also says, quote, if I'm depressed enough, like right now, I may say there's a lot of people who make mistakes, but there's a lot who get it right. As I'm stuck as far as getting it right. I just need a chance. You see, I have nothing to fall back on. I say to myself, get yourself right, get yourself off drugs. But what the hell am I going to do? I need drugs.
Unbelievable.
I say do that, but then I'm like, I like drugs.
What a life.
What the fuck?
What has happened?
At this point, he's mainly panhandling. Mm-hmm. That was it. They said at one point this reporter was looking for him and asked the preacher there that he knows, and they said, you looking for him? Check the IGA down the road. He stands out there and panhandles outside of the grocery store. One person says they was filling up his car one time when a guy walked up to him and introduced himself as Aaron Pryor, the boxer, and begged for a couple bucks. It's fucking sad. They said he gets drug money by working at the downtown business district. One guy here, his friend says, Aaron is street smart. He sees a guy in a business suit, shakes his hands, asks for $20. The guy says, hey, can I get an autograph for my son, Johnny? Aaron says, sure. But by the time he gets to the end of the street, he's got $100. Mm-hmm. So he's just he knows how to play people. He says, yeah, I've done it a few times. I could have been in a tight situation, but if I really needed the money, I could call friends. And he says that friends keep away from him, La Rosa's saying, because he always wants money. They say you have to stay away from people who won't help themselves, otherwise they'll wear you down. But he still gets money off of La Rosa. He calls him and asks for, quote, rent money all the time. He was a stock clerk at one point for a minute. Pryor was at a supermarket, and I guess La Rosa gave him a $200 a week salary to work. Yeah. I'll give you $200 a week if you keep that job. Yeah. And it didn't quite work out. He says that Pryor, quote, that the place, quote, shit canned him. And that was it. They got rid of him and nothing. He says that all his money he's got nothing now, is what he says. He says he's got shit. Nothing. That's it. He calls for rent money, all of this thing. He says, Pryor says sometimes La Rosa, that's it. La Rosa will tell him that, make him swear he's not going to use money for drugs. Mm-hmm. And then he said he always has to meet him to give him the money so he can look me over. God damn it. Is what he said here.
Check him out. Give him a whole once over, make sure he's not high.
Yep, and he did, and he said one time he gave him the money, and Pryor disappeared for several days, returning in bad shape. He learned later that the cops had picked him up in his car, his 30-day tags had expired, and the car was sold at auction after he failed to claim it. He didn't have the money to get it out of impound. So, La Rosa said he bought him a car, too, and it also ended up in the impoundment lot. And he said, Aaron doesn't know anything about running a life. It's frustrating because you just want to say, sit down and do it this way and everything will be okay. But it doesn't work that way. He comes from a different place. His whole frame of reference is different from mine. He grew up downtown. That's where Aaron knows everybody. That's where family and relatives are, the place he goes to. He's a representative of that part of town, the forgotten people. There are thousands of them out there right now, just like Aaron Pryor. Chaos. 93, drug-free. 93 and drug-free, he's saying. He says at this point, he's becoming a Baptist minister. Going to be an associate Baptist minister. He's going to coach young boxers.
Oh, boy.
And he says 93, beat his addiction, and he's over. It's good. I'm good now.
Okay.
He's going on a crusade against illegal drug use.
Oh, Jesus.
A crusade from the Lord.
Yeah.
Lord, keep this taste out of my mouth. That should be your crusade.
Romney and the Republicans already did this.
Yeah, it didn't work. So he became a deacon and also a boxing trainer. He ended up meeting his sons as well. Here.
Really?
He finds his sons, and we'll talk about this in a minute here. He's been helping a bunch of people. One of his students at this point is a teenaged Adrian Broner.
Really?
Who we know all about.
That's one of his students?
One of his students.
Wow.
So we mentioned that in the episode that he was trained by Aaron Pryor, and I remember saying, and we'll do an episode about him someday. Pryor also earned income by selling his own memorabilia and going on the speaking circuit trying to tell people about his story, and then trying to get crack from them. So his family said they were when he got clean, his girlfriend, now Frankie is her name, like we talked about, set up a reunion among her sons, among his sons. They all have different mothers, and he also has a daughter. So this woman said, quote, "This was at a time when Aaron was just recovering, and he asked for that. He wanted his male children to get together. Didn't care about the girl for some reason.
What the fuck, Aaron?
Frankie hooked it up. That was true love on her part. So this is how Stephen knew his father. He did not find out that Aaron was his father until his mother told him while he was watching the Arguello fight.
What?
He's like, that guy's your dad, by the way. Gee, sound familiar?
Which one you rooting for?
Yeah. Yeah, which one? I'd root for the black dude.
Yeah.
Just wink, wink, if you know what I mean. Sound familiar? He sat there, didn't know, knew who he was his whole life, didn't know it was his father.
Right.
This is all very, very, very circular here. He said years later, he was making one of his comebacks and working out at the Emmanuel Center. I consistently went down there and watched him train, never telling him who I was. Sometime later, my mom introduced us, and he recognized me as the kid from the gym. Yeah. We bonded ever since. So he
what the shit?
He would go there and not tell him. Yeah, he'd just go there and not tell him that he was his son, rather than the other guy not telling him that he was his dad. It's the same shit. Like, it's so fucking weird.
Incredible.
So then he trains Aaron Jr. and Steven to box. Yeah. That's the next level of juniorness. Yeah. Name your kid Junior, then teach him to do the same thing you did.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
95, an SI article in Sports Illustrated, he says that, this is amazing, he says that he's had a phenomenal life.
No.
Yeah.
No.
He means phenomenal, but he repeats. They said he repeated it. He said a phenomenal life, just a phenomenal life.
It is comical and phenomenal.
He thinks it's you know what? It works.
Yeah.
This is a phenomenal episode. This is going to be the phenomenalness of fucking Aaron Pryor.
You're goddamn right.
It has to be. I have to write that down because I won't. Phenomenal. Holy shit. Wow. So yeah, they talks about this. He said, somebody said, is it true that you made $5 million while you were fighting? He says, nah, it wasn't that much. And someone says, it was millions though, right? And he says, quote, after Buddy took his half, the government took their half. Then my wife at the time had to have her half. Everybody got their half, and I didn't have half of nothing.
Oh, boy.
So he took a whole and divided it up into 8 halves.
So many halves.
And none of the halves were his. So, yeah. He makes, at this point, $350 a week giving boxing lessons to kids in the 90s and training some, teenagers and shit like that. He's driving a guy for a match, actually, while he's doing an interview. And he's got an old piece of shit car, and it keeps stalling. At one point, he's praying aloud that the car starts again, and it finally does. And then finally, when they leave where they were, he sees something hanging down off the bottom of his car. And he said, it's kind of long and bent and curvy. And he said, what's that? And he looks down and he goes, the window, the starter. I don't know, whatever that is. I can't pay for this shit. Man can't pay for everything on what I make. You just can't do it. So yeah. Also, Pryor lives in a small apartment with Frankie at this point, right in the same neighborhood where he would buy his crack, which is convenient. It's kind of a small little house here. They have a bunch of his memorabilia. She said she just liked him very much, and he was very nice. May 1995, he is arrested.
Of course.
After all this, I'm good now, for drunk driving.
Oh, no.
At least he didn't have crack, but he's drunk driving, which he shouldn't be doing. He's arrested at 3 a.m. after being pulled over for driving in the wrong direction on a one-way street.
What?
That's really drunk.
Yeah.
An officer said that, he's charged with going drunk driving, going the wrong way down a goddamn street.
Right.
In addition to all of his crack, and everybody's helped him. He's fucking rent money, and where does it stop?
No.
Where does it stop?
It doesn't.
No one's there to help him.
Right.
No one. He needs a friend.
Yeah.
He needs a goddamn friend so bad, and he's just out there one day. He doesn't know what to do, and then he hears some dogs barking, and it's Bobby Colorado, animal trainer from Fredericksburg, Texas, and he says, "How is it you come to arrive here, huh? You know what? You know what you need? Listen, pal. What did you say you needed more than anything, huh?
Goddamn dog.
A friend.
Yeah.
You know what I got right here? The best fucking friends you're ever going to have. Let me tell you, he'll never shoot you.
Right.
He's never going to hold you hostage.
Right.
Never going to say you raped him. I'll tell you, I mean, even if you do, he won't say anything about it. He's a good guy. You know what I mean? Friend. But then on the other hand, I don't want you like blowing crack smoke on my dog's face. You'd be the one kind of guy to be like, you want to smoke some crack, dog? And then my dog's hooked on. You know what? Fuck you. I'm getting out of here. You know, you're a piece of shit. No, I don't have $1 either. I'm sorry. I can't even talk to you anymore. I'm going. And poof, in a puff of dog shit and marinara sauce.
Yeah.
He's gone, and that's how that works. So 1996, Pryor is inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame.
Really?
Absolutely. He's a
international.
Fuck yeah. He's a world-renowned boxer. The money's gone. All of his shit's gone. He couldn't pay for, he has like an old title belt that's held in a bank vault that he can't get.
No.
His mother dies at this point, and he had to borrow money to help pay for her funeral because he doesn't have that. He's trying to write an autobiography. It's just a mess. He said, quote, "I'm just an average fighter, broke at the end of my career. Every now and then a call will come in for me to fight in Africa or somewhere, and my friend Ken Hawk will say, you do that and you'll disappoint me. But I always think about it. One more fight. Going into the Hall of Fame has kind of killed that dream." So yeah, I could imagine that. You're good. You should, once you're in the Hall of Fame, that's enough.
Yeah.
He says that he hopes they name a street after him someday in Cincinnati. He says, "I don't know if they're going to name a street after me one of these days, but if I do, I hope I'm still alive, and I hope it's not an alley." So,
the one he used to buy crack on.
Exactly. That's where he should do, in a crack neighborhood. Aaron Jr. about this says, quote, "It's an honor. I was just so proud of my dad when he got inducted. Just so proud of him from where he was to all the work he did to get where he got to in boxing. His greatest comeback in life was when he was down and people gave up on him, and he came back to the top. That's a true champion." 1999, he's voted by the Associated Press as the world's best light welterweight champion of world's best light welterweight of the 20th century.
How about that?
Of the 20th century.
Can you imagine?
That's insane.
Why the fuck is that a thing?
Light welterweight of the 20th century.
To wind up where he wound up.
That's insane, isn't it? Yeah. 2002, he was ranked as the 35th greatest boxer of any weight class from the last 100 years by the Ring magazine.
Unreal.
Of all time. I mean, that's insane.
Crack.
Yeah, crack. Crack.
Oh,
Need to
boy.
smoke crack. How to have it. 2003, he says, quote, "While boxing has really helped me, I don't want to walk around thinking about my last fight. I don't want to walk around thinking about the trouble I used to be in. I want to have good things on my mind and good things on my agenda." August 13th, 2005, Aaron Jr. makes his pro debut in boxing with a TKO win.
How about that?
He's a super middleweight. He's 6'4". I don't know how the fuck he has a 6'4" kid, but he's awesome. 5'6", but good for him. He would go on, Aaron Jr., to have a 21-11-2 record, and he is still active.
How about that?
Last fight was in December of 2018, and he's got a fight set for September of this year.
Great.
So root on Aaron Jr. He's had it tough. So, I mean, and these kids, they have had it tough. I mean, between them, their whole family, his mom, I mean, it's got to be hard to have his name and not, I mean, I feel bad for him. I feel bad for all these people, Jimmy, but not nearly as bad as I feel for Aaron Pryor, information security engineer at H&R Block. Would you let him watch your money?
God, no.
Fuck no. This is in Lee's Summit, Missouri. Aaron Pryor, controller at Broad River Rehab. Talk about handing the fucking cookie jar. Jesus Christ. Now, I was particularly proud of finding that one.
Interest.
I would say Asheville, North Carolina. Aaron Pryor, welder at Heavy Equipment Rentals of another thing I don't want a crackhead doing.
Drug test the shit out of him.
All these jobs are jobs that he shouldn't have. And finally, Aaron Pryor, chief financial advisor a managing director at Aclaro Valuation Advisors in the Omaha area. It's a financial services firm. Again, no.
You're going to sink all your money in Coke.
No.
I'm going to have a solid portfolio for you. How do you feel in diversifying in Coke and crack?
I figure, look, all right. Half of it in powder coke, the other half just one big mountainous rock of cocaine. See, I'm going to cook it now, and it's going to be completely different. It'll be worth more. I can take your pile of cocaine, I can turn it into a big giant rock that'll be worth twice as much, just like that. 100% flip right now. No idea. I can do it. So, 2006, the New York Jets invite Aaron Pryor to speak to the team.
Why?
That's why they always lose. They invited a crackhead to speak to their team. I don't fucking know.
Do they know that he's diversity?
A boxer? Yeah, they don't know. Just like, who's this crackhead?
He's an athlete. I don't know.
After everything he went through and asked everybody if they had $5 he could borrow. But apparently to overcome diversity, this is the guy here. 2014, Aaron Pryor is voted as the greatest light welterweight in boxing history by the Houston Boxing Hall of Fame, which is kind of a big deal. It's a voting body is composed entirely of current and former boxers, so that's very
Is it worse
prideful
to give him the awards based on where he is now,
it's
or
so
just
bad.
Like just ignore him? Which one's worse?
Pretend. Well, yeah, it's
how
true.
hard is it to bring a crackhead on stage for an acceptance speech?
Jesus Christ! Well, it's a lot easier to ignore him now because on October 9, 2016, he died.
No,
so
God damn it!
He's dead now, so it's really easy to ignore him.
I guess it's nice that they gave him all the awards before he died.
He got to see himself. Yeah, he did get to make a comeback. He never got, since that 96 arrest for the drunken driving, he hadn't been in trouble ever, done nothing but church work and boxing training. And they said he'd go around, they said, like, he'd take these boxers to their matches and it'd be like in some shithole, like shed, and everyone's in like overalls and warm-up pants, and he's in a suit and tie with shine shoes trying to be like professional. And he's trying very, very hard.
Wow.
But he dies on October 9, 2016 at 60 years old. Cause was complications from heart disease. His wife now, Frankie, said in a statement, she said that he overcame addiction, became a minister, and campaigned against drug abuse. And his wife was still with him. Also, he has a grandson, Aaron III.
No fucking way.
It continues, Jimmy. It fucking goes on and on and on and on. Holy shit.
This is the song that never ends.
It's fucking... My God, I am Luigi Bizarro, my friend. Sorry, that's stuck in my head too now. So La Rosa, his manager, says, quote, in the ring, the only other person I would put in a class with Aaron is a baseball player. His name's Pete Rose. You put Pete Rose on a diamond and you knew he was going on all over. Aaron was that way when you put him in the ring. Charlie Hustle. That's what he's saying. Aaron could box when he had to box. He could punch when he had to punch. Stamina. He'd wear you down. What more can I say? He was just a champion inside the ring and a good-hearted guy outside the ring, just like Aaron Jr. said. He'd give you the shirt off his back, and then he'd try to ball it up and put it in a pipe and smoke it. But he would give it to you first before he tried to smoke it.
So he'd give you his shirt and then be like, can I have $5?
Can I have $5? Yeah. You got like 50 cents? I'll fight you for 50 cents and a shirt.
God damn it. That's so heartbreaking.
It is, man. So La Rosa said he'll never expect to see another fighter like Pryor. He says, quote, I'm not sure if that void will ever be filled because of Aaron's talent. He said, no fighter fights with the excitement Aaron brought. He's certainly going to be missed around here. Aaron would take the kids on the corner out to get ice cream. He was tough in the ring, but a sweetheart outside of it. Mrs. Pryor, here, who's his wife, said that the world knew him as the Hawk and we knew him as a husband, dad, and granddad. Really, I would like to say his greatest accomplishments were being a dad and granddad. Can't get enough of Aaron Pryor?
Yeah.
Well, you can get some cool fucking memorabilia if you want to dish out some cash. GameDaySportsMemorabilia.com has an Aaron Pryor signed black Everlast glove.
Oh,
full size.
Water bottle.
It's a sweet water bottle. Full size, too. Not one of these mini shitty ones, like a real boxing glove here. Not ring worn, but it's a boxing glove from that era. $173.
Not bad.
Not that bad. Yeah. And DenverAutographs.com has an Aaron Pryor autograph boxing trunks. They're his ones. They say Pryor. They're the white ones with the shit on them, and they're signed really cool. Really awesome. $129.99 for those.
Really?
So, yeah. So if you like Aaron Pryor, there's some cool shit you can get. And outside of the crack and, the questionable rape, otherwise,
I
just
want those fucking shorts.
Those shorts are badass,
That's
dude.
kick-ass.
They're fucking awesome. I saw those too. I was
Are
like,
they framed?
Those are so cool. No, they're not framed, but you can frame them.
Oh, that's the coolest fucking thing.
You'd have to frame them. They'd be so fucking dope framed. Yeah, those are dope.
Because that glove's a motherfucker to frame.
I don't know what you do with it.
Shadow box.
You'd have to almost put it in one of those plastic cases and kind of leave
or
it.
A shadow box, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
hangs on the wall.
Yeah, but no, that's the way you do it. You get those shorts.
The trunks are badass.
And the trunks are cheaper too. So what the hell? But that's Aaron Pryor, everybody. That's one I've been sitting on for about 2.5 years.
That's really terrible.
That I've wanted to do, and it's a fucking tragic story.
It really is.
Literally one of the most talented people he's as talented as any. He's as good at his sport as just about anybody we've ever done. I mean, maybe not as good as OJ was at football, but actually probably. Yeah, I think he was actually.
I mean, he's in the top 35. Is that what it said? Of
all time for
every weight class.
Every weight class. Yeah.
Fuck.
He's a friend for his weight class. He is undoubtedly top 3 of all time.
Wow.
In his weight class. So I mean, you can't. And pound for pound, he's just a bad motherfucker. Yeah. And like I said, even if you hate boxing because it's boring, do yourself a favor and watch any of his any of them. I'm not even going to tell you which one. Pick any of them and then tell me that if you saw that and then watched an MMA fight, you wouldn't be like, wow, MMA is boring as fuck. Right. I wish those guys would stand up and start swinging on each other because this fucking wrestling around is annoying. So anyway, that is Aaron Pryor, and I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, there's a great way to tell us about it. You can get on Apple Podcasts, the purple icon, and you can leave us a review. 5 stars would be wonderful. Doesn't matter what you're saying. Say you're following instructions, following directions. I know you have to sign in, but come on, we just gave you 40 years of a crazy life laid out. It's not that bad. Get in there and do that, or wherever you listen to the show. I'm sure there's somewhere you can rate. Do it on there and help us out. It helps out the show a lot.
Rate, not rape.
Don't rape the show. Do not. We're not up for that.
No.
Okay, we're not okay with that.
We're not in.
No, we're not. I'm sorry. And even if you buy a ticket, we still can't do it.
Absolutely not.
No, you can shake our hands. You can say hello. We'll give you a hug even.
I'm in.
No rape.
None.
So absolutely not. Yeah, do that. Go to shutupandgivememurder.com where you can get all of your crime and sports memorabilia, things, stuff. It's all there, guys. Also, tickets to the Small Town Murder live shows for the rest of the year. No more crime and sports live show. It's sold out here in Phoenix, which we're excited about, but sorry we can't get any more people in there. We wish we could, but it's only 300 something people. Right. So small venue, sold out quick. We apologize. We're going to try to set up a few more around the country, try to kind of pair them with Small Town Murders. Maybe we'll get a West Coast, a Midwest, and an East Coast. That's our goal. Far enough away to where we're not, impeding on our other markets, but just see how it goes. We're going to give it a shot. So do that. Get on there. You can also follow us on social media. That's a thing to do. That way you can know when these tickets come out and when we're going places. You can do that very easily by going to at Crime and Sports and Twitter and Facebook, and at Small Town Murder on Instagram there. And if you want to be one of our producers, damn it. One of these people we're going to talk about in a second, because these are the most spectacular people in the world. They really are. Yeah. We can't say enough about them. They keep the show going. They make this a show. If you notice, this is an ad-free episode this week. So, we did all this and it's ad-free. We're not making any money off it. And these people make the show go because they're like, you know what? We're going to donate money. Sure. We appreciate a long episode with no commercials. So thank you so much for everything you do, guys. So Jimmy, I would like you to hit me with that list like a 22 grazed across my abdomen.
This week's executive producers are Justin Miller, Clay Thorson, who he lost his pup and he went and got 2 new ones. Loki and Odin the pug.
Good for you.
Good for you, Clay. Cheryl Rice, Lucy is white trash. From Murphy.
Hey, you know what?
Good for you, Lucy.
Good for you.
You know what? I am also Lucy,
hey,
so it's fine.
You know what? Don't worry about it.
Murphy, you can go fuck yourself. Jessica Winkler, Gina Kudajarov, Delinda Andrews, Andrews Lewinji, I think, and she came to a show.
Cool.
I think she came to. You know what? Don't look at me. Tampa, Orlando.
Yeah, these shows blend together. We apologize. Not the people, the shows themselves.
John Donnelly, Amanda McConnell, and Meredith Ottery. Thank you all so much. We can't do this without you. The producers this week are Tyler Frazier, Sonny Johansson, Shalima Althaus. You know what? I've done this before.
Yeah.
Althaus.
Yeah.
One of those. Amanda Gibson, Thomas Smith, Abdul John, Grace Brunei, Fabio Raimondi.
Yeah, roll.
Damn it. Margie Coons, Belinda Reed, Cynthia Biddle. She says SPF yourself. Put some fucking sunscreen on. That's what she means.
Yes.
Good for you.
That's her message.
I like that message.
That's a good message.
Carol Braun, thanks, Carol. Appreciate you. Welcome.
Definitely.
Around again. She donates both ways, but she donated through PayPal this week. Just to remind
awesome.
us. So thank you, Carol.
Thank you.
Faye Bader, Pump the Drakes. I don't know what that is. Lauren Smith, Jude Kendall, Matt Avery, Jesse Hartman, Tyler Sheets, Craig Larson, Jenna XL, Paul Ruest. Hang in there, Paul. You're doing great, buddy. Hannah Weber, Kyra Bai. Yes. Haley Ellis. Yes. That's probably wrong.
Yes.
Amy Spingath or Spingath. I don't know.
Something like that. I'm
Jennifer,
not good at this. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not good at this.
Jennifer Britzman, Emily Warwick. I don't. Damn it. Rebecca Hendricks, James Martyr, Therese Mehta. That's right. No, it's not. Travis Ezel. I think that's what I wrote.
Awesome.
I'm not good at writing. Elizabeth Nigro, Alice Mullen, Sandra Caves or Calves, Garrig Rock, Kimberly Crawford. That's my sister's name, but that's not who donated. It's another person.
Oh, good.
Thank you, Kimberly.
Well, thank you.
Lisa McColgan, Michelle Nguyen, Ashley Vio, M. Betts, Molly Hewitt, Patrick Martin, D. Hall, Sarah Webb, Kelly Bodecker, Courtney Divan, Lenny Blunt, Christopher. I'm sorry, Christopher Earnshaw, Saint McNimrod. McNimrod, David Barnhart, Alexis Seeger, Phil Mann, Philip, that's you, Janine Walter,
Phil.
Maddie Gallagher, Gregory Carroll, Mike Stoll, Jennifer Flores, Amanda Standifer, Alicia Massey, Kate with no last name, Benjamin and Anna in Orlando. Thank you both. Thanks for coming to the show. Chandler Miner, Melissa Glidewell, Nikki's shirts and shit. Google them, find them, and buy a shirt. Isabel Silverstein, Lauren Boyd, Jane Richards, Ian or IAIN. Is that Ian?
I think it's Ian, but they spell in England. They have so many people are named Ian in England. They have
over there.
18 different ways of spelling it. Yeah,
Ian Black.
They just can't stop naming each other Ian. Over
all right.
There. Thank you.
Jim Underhill, Janie Goulet.
Stop naming each other Gareth over there, too. Yeah. It's just Garrett or not. It's Gareth is
or
weird. Gary.
Deborah Brace, Stephen Rude, Gary Howard. Thanks, Gary.
Thanks, Gary, for everything, brother.
Yeah,
appreciate
you.
Good
to
seeing
hang
you.
Out with you. Appreciate
Thanks, man.
You got shithoused, but it was fine.
And so did you.
Yeah, I did.
So we're all right.
Sheena with no last name, Robin Brand, Brendan Abels, Tommy Craig, Juan Mendoza Fournier, home stretch here, Renee Kellogg, Karen Hunsworth, Carrie Polly, John Love, Catherine Anderson, Jonathan Kaplan, McKaylee Osley, Janelle Coach or Cock, Omar Little. I see what you did, you son of a bitch. I know his name.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't have to watch the fucking
Omar.
show to know the guy's name.
I've told him Omar enough times by now.
Gordon Cazalet Smith. This is Ikaru, I think so. No, Akairu.
Cool.
No, it's not. I said Haley Ellis. She donated both ways. Thank you, Haley. Rachel Coleman, Brittany Dace, or Dachi, Nicole Arsenal, Robert Ward. I don't know why I saw Brandon out of Robert, because I'm dumb. Jennifer Britzman, I said that too. She donated both ways. Thank you, Jennifer. Lane Joseph Mans, Kelly Brown, Johnny Flores, Eve KB, Leah Cook, really? Flores Hughes, Lynn Fort, Kylie Burge, Dahl Wilson, Rachel Ice, Mindy Kidd, David Renazzi, and Total Axe, and all of our Patreon supporters. You guys are fucking amazing to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everybody. You guys are awesome, and you came through for us as always. And we can't tell you how much we appreciate everything that you do for us, because it's a goddamn fact, man. You make the show go.
Yeah.
So thank you. And what if somebody wants to thank you, Jimmy, or shoot you with a 22 or anything? How could they get a hold of you?
You can find me at Wisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Keep the gunplay to a minimum. What about you?
Definitely. You can find me at Jimmy P is Funny. My chair just broke at the end of the episode. That was nice. You can find me at Jimmy P is Funny, or you can just copy and paste my last name from the show description, because it's long and awful and nobody wants to spell it. Mm-hmm. That said, Jimmy, I think it's time. It's been a wild episode. This has been all that crime and sports is in one episode.
It's the essence.
It's the essence of crime and sports. We've had a lot of those lately.
It's a chef's kiss.
Fucking nah. So live from the Crime and Sports Studios, we will see you next week.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.